Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tech Like Weekly with the BizChicks. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory. I'm Carolina Austin, and we are the BizChicks. We want to welcome you to Tech Life Weekly, where we talk about what's happening in tech and keep you updated. So, we always like to get started with this week in tech history, talk about the past, and eventually we'll get to the future. So, I just want to say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sit back, relax, and let's get to the tech. What's up, Fran?
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for those watching live and on the replay. This week in tech history, we're going to talk about a couple of things that transition from, let's start with October 30th all the way through the week. So let's go. October
Oh,
30th, 1938. That's right. I said 38. Orson Welles broadcasts
wow.
his radio adaptation of The War of the Worlds, which reportedly caused a panic among listeners who believed the theatrical presentation was a
Mhm.
real news broadcast.
Yes.
Regardless of the actual levels of panic caused, The War of the Worlds is one of the most famous radio broadcasts in history. I can see where that would have been an issue because radio was probably the thing that you were getting your information from, your news
Oh,
source, because
AI?
this is 38. This
I
is
know.
where you were getting your source of information.
Hmm.
There's okay, there was the Pony Express and the the wire and stuff, but there
The
wasn't like what we
Telegraph?
Yes, there was. They don't have like where we have Twitter or anything else where we can go check is this real or whatever because it was set up like a news broadcast.
Hmm.
So people were panicking
Speaking
and
out.
frightened because the news source, because you know how we right now on TV,
Hmm.
we can do a story. CNN is doing this, but it's a part of the movie.
Mm.
So there's a movie, and then they have a scene where it's a report from CNN, right? And
Yes.
CNN has a part in the movie. Well, this was their news source, and they were, oh my God, it's being reported on this broadcast. It must be true. And
Yes.
now we'll be like, okay, somebody, this is a hoax, and we have ways to go check stuff out now. So the first crew to the International Space Station, October 31st, 2000, Russia launches Soyuz TM-31, carrying the first crew to the International Space Station. The ISS has been continuously manned since this first mission. So that's 32 years, right? 30,
Hmm.
okay, 23. That's 23 years. Wow. International Space Station. Interesting. November 1st, 1954, the Industrial Development Engineering Associates Company began selling the Regency TR1, the world's first commercial transistor radio. Texas Instruments designed and developed the transistor technology, who then partnered with IDEA to design and manufacture the complete radio. The TR1 sold over 100,000 units, ushering in the commercial transistor industry. Everybody had one of them little red radios they were listening to back in 50, around that time.
Exactly. And I remember my uncle came from Philadelphia when I was about 7 or 8, and he brought me a Panasonic radio, a little small one. Oh,
Mhm.
it was so cool. And I could get Wolfman Jack all the way in New York City. I knew I was hot stuff.
So this is what that radio looks like.
Hmm. I remember those. They were all over the place, weren't they?
Yeah, and you got to listen to music. Yeah, it was kind of cool. My next story, November 2nd, 1988, Robert Morris of Cornell University launches a self-replicating worm as a part of a research project designed to determine the size of the early internet. It was
Hmm.
intended to count the number of computers that initiated connections when the worm was loaded onto them. However, due to a programming error, the Morris worm began repeatedly infecting machines, clogging network traffic, and causing machines to crash. Eventually, the worm spread to 6,000 machines, which was roughly 10% of the internet at that time, causing a significant downtime for government and university systems for 2 days. Morris was dismissed from Cornell, sentenced to 3 years probation and a $10,000 fine.
Wow. I don't know if they do that today.
Mm-mm,
Dang.
I don't think they do. And the final story here, November 3rd, 1957, the Union launches Sputnik 2, the second spacecraft launched into Earth orbit and the first spacecraft to carry a living creature into orbit. Laika, a Siberian husky dog, unfortunately only survived a few hours into the flight and died from stress and overheating. The Soviets had planned to euthanize Laika regardless, as Sputnik did not have a deorbiting or re-entry technology designed into the spacecraft. Where's Peter when you need him? I I just
Well, what can we learn from this? Always have an exit plan.
right, and then don't just send the dog up there. You're stressing the dog out. Number one,
Hmm.
you,
Sonic booms, all kind of wonderfulness going on.
and it's overheating.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay,
Mm.
but
That's kind of sad. But
it,
anyway,
it is. It really is. And I'm like, why would you do that to the dog?
hmm,
To just
hmm.
see if something alive can go up to space?
Yeah, that was the purpose.
Right. So
Okay.
I have a some AI news. Let me see. Do I want to do that one? Okay. So this is because this is tech making history. Okay. So it's not just another ordinary day for the Beatles fans because yesterday the Beatles released their final new song. It is called Now and Then. It was written by John Lennon in 1977, and it was left on an unreleased demo tape until a production team used AI to isolate his voice and let Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr turn it into a fully realized track. And they
Yes.
released that song yesterday
Mm,
using AI technology.
exactly.
They used the tech for good.
Thank you.
So they were able to pull his voice and and do a track that he had written, and they have a whole story on it on
Hmm.
Apple Music, and they have like the what is it a short film
Hmm.
about how
Hmm.
that song came about. I thought it was really interesting. And if, are we expecting ladies today?
Let me see. I
Um,
don't have anything over here, but let me look and see.
And I do have another one more story of tech making history. Stop. Okay, so tech making history. Um, Let me go here. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can make this work. Go like that. Do I have to do that one
Mhm.
first? Hold on. I love how this works. Let's see. If I open this up in this window, I won't have to do all of this.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So
I'm
I'm in
in
the
current messages.
okay, cool. I'm in
Mhm.
the real estate industry, and so I came across this, and you might have done this story a while back, but I think it's worth repeating if you have.
Okay.
Uh, and so let's take a look at the video. We're talking about a company called Boxable, where the house is. Well, I'm gonna just
Mm-hmm.
watch it, and I don't like the immediate play. Stop. Okay, go here.
So let's get in present mode.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, didn't mean to do that. Okay, here. There we go. We can see this.
Yes.
All
There you
right.
go. Looks good.
House comes with everything you need. It unfolds and it's only $60,000. You can unpack your house in any environment. And the company is called Box. It's a housing factory. I mean, they are looking to have a housing. Terry, seriously.
Yeah, it has really changed. And uh, I don't know if this was available in the United States when I showed this, but I do believe this is a U.S. company, Boxable, and I
I
think
think they're, I don't
out
know if they're in
west.
Canada. They've already built a second factory. I'm like,
It's amazing. Can you imagine
you can get a
all this
two-story
house
house
for
from
$60,000?
anywhere on the planet. Shut up.
And they had
I have
different models. Yes.
is producing trailers to make the transportation easier. And why have we dude on the screen? I do not know.
I have
They
no
put
idea
up
who he is.
another his next.
He must be one of the founders.
Right.
Okay.
But
I thought that was a great solution to the housing issues we're having across the world.
around the world, I was like 60. I'll pay 60. I have clients right now, they want to buy um a home or buy some land and just put a house on it. Well,
There you go. There's a solution.
right there. And I'm thinking that's a solution for a lot of people. Mark said, feel free to buy me one for Christmas, along with a
Okay,
place
if it's
to
in
put it.
Canada, which they may soon be a necessary move. Yeah, really.
And I think they are based in Canada. I saw something on the screen when I was watching that it said
Mhm.
something about Canada, but I was like, hmm.
That's a real. It's very tempting, isn't it?
It's easier than a tiny house.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
you don't
don't
feel like you're giving up a lot. You know what I mean? Hmm. And look how quickly it went up.
unfolding.
Hmm. Hmm. Which
Just
makes complete sense. It always made sense to me. I don't know why things are so complicated, but at any rate, there you are.
so I'm gonna let you do your story,
Okay.
and then I am going to I have quizzes, you know.
Okay. Well, let me line this up because we've been talking a lot, how the holidays are coming. And we've been talking about, the fact that we want things to fit properly. And how do we know if it's going to look great on us or if it's the right color on our skin tone? All kinds of things go through our minds as women when we are shopping. So, one of the things that I wanted to share with you was what's going on with Walmart and online shopping. So, let me cue this up. Da, 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 and get her situated where we are on full blast. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So you can try on clothes from the comfort of your home without having to go anywhere or having anything shipped to you. All you need is your smartphone. Here's how to
Turn that up.
virtually clothes. Many brands are showcasing their
Is that better?
products now on a variety of models, showing what it looks like for different skin tones and body sizes. And if you want to take it one step further, the Walmart app lets you do the modeling. To use the feature, first tap on the item you're interested in, like this super cute skirt. Look for the button that says Choose My Model. The first time you use this feature, you will need to take a picture of yourself for the app to use. So follow those instructions and get it set up. Then continue shopping. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it does give you an idea of what something might look like, especially if you're unsure of the color. I don't think that's my color. If you don't want to go through the hassle of trying to take a picture of yourself, that's okay. They also offer a variety of models that you can see the look on as well. Definitely adding that to the cart. So cute. Even cuter in person.
That's good.
I thought that we go. Okay. I thought that was a great idea, and it's Walmart because usually when we would see these, it was higher end stores, and you know what I mean. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and kids grow so fast. Just think you could probably eventually, when they get into the children's department, make sure it fits, or they got some growing room, or there you go. So I loved it, and I thought, let me share this with our audience because it did seem like a very simple process. Um,
Yeah, I like that. Now that plus the boxable house, we what
you know what I'm saying? Life could be a lot simpler.
simpler, simplify it all.
Yes. So there you go. The
Hey,
other thing that
Carlos.
the other thing that I wanted to share was from, we've been talking a lot about AI and, all these different meetings are going on in Washington because people are concerned about, is it Memorex or is the
Before
real?
you dive deeper into that, let me get Mark's comment out the way.
Okay.
He says, I have always dreamed of hiring a tiny house designer to build me a regular size house with all of the ingenuity that they use for saving space.
Hmm. There you go. So now you can just get an appointment with Boxable because it's my understanding they are just swamped, and I can understand why.
And
As
Carlos said, go ahead, finish your thought.
and remember, we showed the video with the house that was being 3D printed in
Right,
Mexico.
right. With I think those are icon homes, but there's still people are building
They were
homes.
like 2 bedrooms, and yeah.
Right. So Carlos has been busy with so much new tech to make people into TV people. Uh, and he says Boxable does rock. I don't. The tech is here now. You know how people are disrupting the industry
Yes.
because the way things have been done before. You wanted to buy a house or get a house built. It was a lot, still a lot, but we can see a trend changing where people it's affordable for everybody.
Mhm.
So it now it may not address what people consider the homeless issue, because a lot of the homeless issue has got nothing to do with the lack of a house.
Yeah.
It's other things deeper than a lack of a place to live. So, and there's some political stuff that happens with that and all kind of stuff. But I thought that was great. The Boxable, the trying on the clothes.
The conveniences that, life is getting easier, and with Boxable, life is getting more affordable.
And then with the convenience and the ease, it's not so you can just be lazy. It allows you to work more efficiently. It
Mhm.
allows you to be more creative. It allows you to not have to expend that part of your gray cells trying to figure that out. Where are we going to live? How are we going to do all of these things? That's solved for you. How am I going to find a place that's affordable? That $60,000 is less than an apartment.
It's less than an electric vehicle. Okay.
Yeah,
Carlos says, I can offer Boxable internet, what's it say? Internet boxes that allow the home to be almost
almost.
anywhere and
And
have internet. There you go. I
I
would
will use a
go
Boxable for a TV studio. Isn't that genius?
and we're here. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And to move it on a transportation, it's, how we see manufactured homes before and they're all big and bulky. I got a client that might be interested. I'm going to see how
And in
available these are.
yeah, and in two pieces. And then the other thing is, if you're looking to put up um a mother-in-law unit in your backyard.
Right. You don't have to move from the house you're in. You can move that Boxable right in. If you have the space in the backyard, move the Boxable in, and then you have what they call an ADU, which is an additional dwelling unit. It's a casita, a casita, mother-in-law's quarter, or whatever you want to call it. You put it in the backyard and everybody's golden. The she sheds, all of the different things that you could do with that. And it's not a shed, it's a full-fledged home.
And when your mother-in-law's not in it, you can always do Airbnb it. You can do, the kids come back from college and they're trying to get situated and saved to buy a house. They could live there and they're not in your basement. I mean, there's just a lot of things.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. And then Carlos says, so Boxable would be a set and stream the video to my cloud services.
Mhm.
Boxable would be a set, and then he would stream the video to his cloud services. So, um, and they are looking for investors too. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was like, might have to see if they're on my app as an option.
There you
But
go.
but I thought it was really good. Hey TJ, good morning.
Hello,
Hi,
good
how you doing?
morning.
Great to have you in the
Can
studio.
you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm making sure my mic is on. I'm like, is it on?
Yes, ma'am. Your mic is on. Don't say
Thank you.
anything. Say anything you don't want us to hear to the kids. Okay, ladies. Okay, here we go.
Let us know when you're ready, TJ. They done messed around and did something else too.
Yes.
Who are these people?
What happened?
StreamYard?
I'm over here on Messenger,
Oh,
and
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just trying to find out. Stuff has moved again, and I'm like,
oh,
wait. And then they got little pictures down the side. This does not look like normal. Okay.
there you go.
so something different in Messenger?
Well, the layout, okay, because I'm at messenger.com. I'm not in the Facebook
Oh,
part of it.
okay.
And I'm like, icons down the side, chat's in the middle, and I'm still
Wonderfulness is going on. Well, I
okay.
have one
Okay.
more story that I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
share, and that is about um, Content Authenticity Initiative, which is a group that TJ told us 5 years ago would have to come to fruition to help us authenticate stuff. And there had to be some, remember you said some kind of uh,
I said a lot. I said a lot of things. I remember this
good housekeeping.
particularly because when I said it, it sounded crazy, right? When I said it, but
Not
now
No, it
particularly.
didn't
no,
sound
no, no,
crazy.
No,
I don't mean crazy. I mean it forward. Let me say
it was
forward
so forward thinking. Yes.
because
Yes.
I knew this would come because the way that technology goes and the way that I didn't see Chat GPT coming to knock us out a year ago.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see that, but I knew something was coming. I didn't know it was going to be Chat GPT, but here we are. So,
So this is called Content Auth- Authenticity Initiative, and it's
mhm.
to sort of help get the whole thing under control so that we know when something is authentic. Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
so why is it CIA?
it's CAI.
Okay, because I was like, please don't let them
You
have it.
really did really blow your mind up. Okay, so let me get this queued up. Hold on a minute. There's a little video, I do believe, right here that will allow us to see how this is supposed to work. Okay, let me see if I can start it from the beginning.
But misinformation threatens to split us apart. So we're building a new digital standard to help. When a photojournalist captures an image, they can choose to preserve its key facts, like who shot it, where they were, and when it happened. Then, when the image appears on screens all around the world, its history moves with it. And if anything was changed along the way, everyone can see. We're starting with images, but the standard will embrace all content. It's an ambitious initiative, but our goal is simple: less misunderstanding, more trust, fewer divisions, more bridges. Instead of the internet becoming a place of doubt and uncertainty, we can help keep it a place built on strong connections, where great ideas can thrive, where we can all move forward together.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes,
So if I
very
have
much.
something
Someone
stamped
is
so if I have something stamped CAI, I'm authentic, not
and
necessarily a blue
that
check or
good housekeeping seal of approval that TJ was talking about. Remember?
right.
Yeah.
And so here's a company that wants to help us out, help a sister out, and they're having all of these meetings in Washington about
Mhm.
AI and all the possibilities for the upcoming election. Um, and so here's someone working on it, and it's comforting to me to know that there's someone trying to build a business around authenticating this stuff. Okay.
Yeah, where you'll have to pass your whatever through. I was working on something on Amazon Kindle, and now one of the questions before you publish is, did you use any AI to generate um,
Mhm.
any portion
Mhm.
of your publication? You
Yep.
know, whether it was images or text, they want you to tell, they want you to talk about it.
Well, they want you to identify it so they can know
Well, I mean, they're gonna, and I guess they're gonna go check it to make sure that it was
original content.
right.
Right.
Or
Mhm.
if you used it, you know, how did you use it? How much did you use? And all of that. So it was kind of interesting.
So that's what I wanted to share with you, that you can try your clothes on from home, that you can now look forward to being able to tell if something is AI or original. And so hopefully we'll rest a little easier.
Yeah.
That's it
So
for me.
All right, I just pulling up one more story, but
Okay.
why? Okay, but I'm gonna throw this out. This is not social media. I'll throw this out while I'm getting this story. Let me
Okay.
read this. I don't know if you saw. I saw this on the news this morning on CBS Mornings. There's a new
Okay.
Beatles song,
Oh
Yeah.
yes. We
and
talked
it's
about
being reported as AI created. That's
hmm
not really true.
Yeah, because yeah.
So I wanted to clear that up. It is using AI tools to isolate John Lennon's voice from an analog recording on
Hmm.
cassette. The rest of the song is made the way that they make a song.
Right.
it's live.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they did that to, the news likes to put the stuff out and to get people, oh, AI, the Beatles AI song. It is used to, because John Lennon is no longer here. George
Mm-hmm.
Harrison is no longer here. So there's two people missing out of a four-man group. So the two
Mm-hmm.
remaining members, and then their producers and all the engineers and stuff that do this wonderful things, they had some recordings. All artists. I heard that Prince has tons of recordings that
Mm-hmm.
never, he didn't think was good enough. Michael Jackson also. There's lots of musical artists who are no longer here who have analog recordings that could not be used before today. So
I
they use a tool. It's called MAL, and it's audio isolation technology, and it's trained on picking out a needle in a haystack, which is John Lennon's
voice.
voice on this analog, which analog means scratchy, it's not clear, it's not digital, on
Mm-hmm.
a cassette or on DAT, the digital audio tape that they use in the recording industry. So AI was able to clean up his voice to be used digitally. And I heard the song and it's amazing.
Yeah, I
It's
listened
not
to
an
it.
AI song. It's they
It,
used a
it
tool to pick his voice out of a unclear recording.
right, because
I'll let.
when I read the
Mm,
story, I didn't take it as it was AI, but the news media tried to spin it into its AI.
yeah.
And but it wasn't, because one the story that I read, and then I watched the film, the documentary that Apple put out with the how they did the recording,
Right.
and it was really good. I was like, oh, so they have one last Beatles song,
Mm-hmm.
and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty
It
good.
sounds great to me. And when the song starts, 'cause you can go to YouTube or Spotify or wherever you want to listen to. It's his voice and it's very clear.
It
But they
is
got it from an analog recording, which was not clear. That
right,
was the
Well,
and it wasn't. This is not AI trying to sound like him. This is him
Mhm.
singing the
It's his
song.
voice. It's a
Right.
recording of John Lennon's voice from 19 whatever,
77. It was
77.
77.
It's not like what they're doing, what some of the people are doing today with they're taking a digital version, or they're digitizing Drake. What was it, Drake's voice and
Mhm.
somebody else, Kanye, and they made all of these. That was all AI made. This is just they're making a song and they need a John Lennon section, which was recorded, and they're working on it in 2023, and they go, well, we can't use his recording because it's analog, is tape, that degrades, and the quality is not clear. I think the detail was that they couldn't hear his voice over the piano because he was playing the piano, so they were able, they needed to raise his voice above the instruments, and they couldn't do it before now. So now
Correct.
they're doing it. But I'm just saying the news led with, oh, it's the Beatles AI song. And I'm like,
It
see,
wasn't. It was
you
John Lennon's one of John Lennon's songs that he wrote, and it
and
wasn't,
recorded.
and recorded, and and they were able to play. They wanted to do this with some of the other, they wanted to do this for a while, but they didn't have the technology to
Right.
make it happen. Mark has a comment. He says, brilliant and highly problematic for artists. I object for those who are no longer alive to permit their artistry to be utilized in this or any capacity.
Right, but
Um,
see, there was permission with this. Yoko Ono gave permission, or
Okay,
whoever
because I
with
was
the state.
wondering who
No,
owned
no, she gave them
this
the
part of
gave
the
them
game.
library.
So,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
there
and this
nothing was done under board. I mean, like
no,
I said, there's Paul McCartney, Ringo,
and Ringo
uh,
Starr.
and
I was,
Yoko Ono
yeah, I
said,
wasn't
"Okay."
implying that it was underboard. I was just
Mhm.
wondering,
No, no, no. I know. I'm just
when
saying that everything was
you
used above board.
when you buy the catalog, does that include
Hmm.
anything that turns up later? You know what I mean?
Right, but she
Under-
had this. She had these tapes,
Yeah, she's the
and
owner.
she
She's the
gave them
owner.
the tape.
Hmm. Yeah, because they wanted this particular song that came out. They wanted to work on it before they never could because it wasn't clean enough. It wasn't clear enough, and
Right,
now it's to the point where we're at the point with the AI tools, and also this is not new. Adobe has Adobe Audition, and there's some other audio tools that for years let you work on audio, cleaning it up. It's just the level of expertise and clarity
right,
is
right.
better. It also is faster, quicker, more precise with the digital tool than with the human ear, if
Right.
that
This
makes
is like what they did with movies when they colorized them and
sense.
when they wanted to, you know, talkies
Yes.
and stuff like that, when they wanted to
Yeah.
enhance
Was it the
of
Wizard of Oz that they
they
Yeah,
went
they
colorized that
crazy
whole
colorize.
over?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was like, how dare you? But now it's like, okay,
Right. Because
not
they
a
took
big deal.
they have been taking black and white films and
Hmm.
making them color a long time. They have been
Right.
doing this. This is not
It
the
was a
first time they've
tedious
done this.
job and it was human led. This is all
Hmm.
digital. The computer can do it much better and faster and more precise than we ever could.
Right.
That's what this is. But I was just so upset because the way that the news presented it,
Uh,
like this was an AI song that they just threw in the AI and AI made this song. And that's
Okay.
not true.
So what they were doing is if I say AI, I'm going to get this response where
Oh yeah.
it, and they did not have to lead with that. They could have led with the article that I read did not sound like that. It said the Beatles' last song, and
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to retrieve a song, and they told the story, not trying to inflame it with it's AI
Right.
generated.
And that's not, I mean, once you listen, because I went online and read the story like you did. So if you go online and read, articles written by journalists, they go into the detail. They don't just, someone could hear that and go, here they go again with that AI. Why are they messing with the Beatles and why are they doing this and that and the other thing? So I was just saying, a lot of people will take surface news from what they hear and they just run with it instead of going and, like you said, reading the story, finding out the details and going, okay, this is not new. It's just that they have a tool that does it with a precision knife, like a surgeon with a knife cutting out, doing surgery or whatever. It's just it's an expert doing it. And this is the deal with AI. You don't, the way that they're using it, this is how it's supposed to be used. This frees up a human to do something else
Right. And
instead of them. Mhm.
here's the kicker. You had to have the human to be able to push the button to make the
Oh
AI do the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, they're not robots in the studio, in the recording studio. I mean, but there's tools there that can help you. And here's the best example. I remember years. This has been a while. IBM had some kind of program or something that could do the work of the interns, because the doctors they have a case and they send the interns to go look it up in the medical journals and look it up here and find a solution. And I've seen that on the medical shows. They will do that with the interns. They will, the medical interns, their job is to do that work. Okay, go and look in the medical journals and find out if we could do this one thing and maybe it's going to help somebody in their surgery. Well, that takes hours and hours of time. And then I think IBM had I forgot the name of it, and they had a computer or the program could do it better and faster than
sort
the
of like a
like
law clerk
looking
has
up
to
the
do the research.
details
Yeah.
that information is already recorded, like it's already been published, like in the journals of medicine and all those things. So instead of a human going, well, I gotta get this, I gotta read it, I gotta look for the computer did it fast. I forgot what it was called. It was IBM something. This was
It's
like a
not
while
Watson,
back.
is it?
Hmm?
Was it Watson?
It might be Watson. That might be what I'm thinking of, but that's been a while, right?
Right. And why not? It's like, okay, it's the Google of the medical industry, where you, instead of the human going to search, because I
Yeah.
can imagine, okay, remember House, the show, TV show called House? He was a medical
Yeah.
doctor. Okay, and
Hmm.
so the interns would go and try and look up stuff, and they'd be asleep and tired. Well, with Watson and other AI computer search systems, the computer didn't get tired of searching and trying to find, the thing that the doctor was looking for. The
Right.
humans petered out. They were like, okay, we need to take a break. So I totally understand that. And if AI can be used for good, but
Right. So
there's,
that's
Yeah.
it's
that's
like
the point.
you keep telling us that, TJ. AI is a tool, and the tool is only going to be as good as the person using the tool.
I'm pretty sure they freaked out when somebody made a screwdriver. Or whatever tool that, okay, we were doing it this way, and here comes this tool, and
A
now
jackhammer. Yeah.
this reminds me of something real quick. I watched Downton Abbey. If you ever watched Downton Abbey, it's a show from the UK about a rich family that did the
Yes, I loved
Lord
it.
Grantham and this and that.
Mhm.
And they had this big house with all these servants, and it was World War II, one period. No, it starts with the Titanic. Whenever the Titanic era went down, and that was the basis of the story. And I remember, so they would do an upstairs downstairs kind of thing. So they
Mhm.
would
The
show the
Gilded
servants,
Age.
and then so the servants would want the cook was like they bought what did they buy? They bought an electric mixer, a hand mixer. It had just come out, and then a toaster, like to make toast, because they were doing everything by hand. They had no electricity. When they got electricity, they got all these appliances. So I remember the cook in the show she was like, I'm not touching that thing. She was like afraid of it. And all it was like a device that opened up and you put the toast in it and you closed it. But it was electrical, and she had no idea concept, or nor did she want to work with it. So it was a couple of appliances, but her attitude was like, I'm not touching it. I'm going to do it the old fashioned way. I'm going to get the
And
fire.
and didn't somebody have
Bread.
trouble answering the phone? They didn't want to answer the
Yes, that
phone.
was the butler. They didn't like the phone. When they got the phone, they were like, the butler, the older servants was like, no, 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 we're not dealing with that. And the younger ones were like, yeah.
Come
So
on now,
that's
y'all.
what I mean. Kind of like people are like, well, this new thing, this newfangled thing is coming along. I don't want to deal with it because they're afraid of it. But the assistant cook was a younger woman, and she loved it. So they had the hair dryers, and it was just funny to show how things we take for granted, they were like, they didn't want anything to do with. They were like, no, we don't want this. So
We're
it's
gonna
just
do.
funny. It's just kind of like that now. Like, no, we don't want that.
We want to sit by the
We're
phone
afraid
and
of it.
wait and wait until the call comes in, or wait till it gets on voicemail okay, instead of using your
It's
cell
just
phone.
funny how we see, how things are come around. So like I said, somebody was afraid of the screwdriver. Believe it or
People,
not.
yeah.
The car. Remember horse and buggy to the car.
And
Those kind of moments.
there's some video of we were watching city scenes, and there's a picture of New York City, with the cars and the horses on the same street
Street.
at the
Yep.
same
Hmm.
time, and there was like no lines down the street for the cars to stay on. People was cutting in front of the horses, and I was like, ooh wee. But that was a time when the technology was making us change, and
Right.
so it was, it was merging, and the cars were scaring the horses, and it was It was interesting.
And there were no
Yeah,
traffic
I
lights.
wanted to throw that
Mr.
out
Garrison hadn't
because
invented the traffic light yet.
There were no
Mhm.
right.
traffic lights. Oh, and there were bicycles mixed up all in that too.
Hmm.
And there was no traffic lights, and people were just, cutting and moving across when they wanted to. And I was like,
And
wow.
it's probably how we feel about, self-driven cars, scooters, that you can just put a quarter in and pick it up and take off. And you got gig cars and you got buses. People on motorbikes, all these different
Amazing.
modes of transportation, converging at the same time. Mm,
They have a
each
new bike out
generation
that
has
I I
challenges.
I, I saw. TJ, let me know when you're ready. I
Yeah,
saw
I just go
I
ahead.
saw a bike that you ride that has no pedals or anything.
It's electric.
N
It
No,
just
it's not electric.
no.
It's a bike. It's you and I gotta go find the article. But I was like, okay, why would we have this? It's ergonomically correct, and it's a bicycle, two wheels, but you use your feet to paddle. I thought I was like, what?
What
Oh,
is you use feet for what? Okay, you got to find it.
Uh, there was no pedals on it. It's a yellow bike. Um,
well, you doing that? Mark had a comment there about the Beatles.
Go ahead, Terry. Uh,
I'm also object to Yoko Ono, but that is another story.
Oh,
Mm,
Yoko can't get any respect, huh?
she can't get any love.
All these years.
Poo, poo, poo.
Oh
Mm.
well. Nobody likes Yoko Ono. Nobody likes John Lennon's wife. Wow.
I'm not hating. I'm just like,
ah,
Me either.
okay, so I
That's
found the
a,
bike. No pedals, no problem. German company launches an adult balance bike. I was like, seriously? So stand by. I'll show it to you on this thing. I was like, what?
okay.
And I'm like, why is my okay? See this bike over here?
Oh man. What?
I s- I I was like, wait, what?
That's what I said. What?
I don't know
that
if
is
it's
really
gonna.
strange.
Can you all see that better now?
Oh my goodness. That's weird.
If you're looking to get your kid into cycling, one of the best ways to do this is to buy them a balance bike, a pedalless
Mm.
bike that allows them to gain confidence staying upright on two wheels. But if you want to have a go yourself, well, now thanks to German company Fleas, which Flitz, okay, I don't know how to pronounce that in German. Um, there's a YouTube of it. Maybe I can watch it. I was like, why? Uh,
I don't get it.
It's
What happens to your feet?
you walk. That's how you move the bike,
Only
Terry.
only only thing use I could see this for is if you want exercise, but you get exercise riding a regular bike.
Right. Apparently based on Baron Karl Dries Velocipede, the forerunner of the modern bicycle, the Fleet's bike ditches the relatively unnatural motion of pedaling in favor of the human gait to provide forward motion.
Maybe you get more exercise this way. I don't know.
I don't understand it, but I do have the. Let me see if I got
That's
the
I'm
weird.
like,
YouTube.
where do you put your feet when you're ready to use just
You
wheels?
don't. That's the deal. It's not a bike with pedals. You walk and you hunch over like a bike,
Right. I'm getting
you're a
ready
human
to.
bike. That's what that is.
Okay.
There's no
All right.
pedal. You
I'm
don't
paying
Okay,
them.
pedal.
stand by, stand by. I'm gonna play
I want to
this.
Is there
see this.
video?
Yeah, there's a video. They're gonna
Okay,
be.
let's see the
I
video.
was
Maybe
like,
then you
seriously,
understand.
people.
You
Yeah.
walk
I
with
need to
the
see
stick
how this.
on you.
What she said. You walk. Okay.
You walk with these 2 wheels on you. That's what it is.
So is it a bike or is it a
It's
weightlifting
okay.
machine?
Look, it's just wheels, Terry. It's just wheels. There's no.
You can
See,
balance.
he's
You can
picking
pick
his feet.
yourself up.
The wheels give the motion of movement and forward movement. So he's picking up his feet and then he can put them down. But there's no bike part. There's no seat and no pedal.
Oh, there's a seat.
I get that, but where do you rest your feet when you put them
You
up?
see how he's resting his feet on the
Put them on
back?
the back wheel. He's putting them on the back. See, there's nothing in the middle.
I get that there's nothing in the middle. I was just like, how do you get your feet out of the way when you're ready to post?
Why? You're gonna pick his feet up and put them on the back. If he doesn't, then he's not.
It's all physics. It's all physics. The movement that keeps them upright without a seat. This is based on physics.
His feet, Carrie.
Yeah, I can see. That's what I wanted to know. When you're posting, what do you do with your feet? You know what I mean?
You just pick them up.
I see it now. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I can remember getting my feet hot in the pedals. Okay. It should have arrived with my brother. Yeah.
You just put it on. It's a harness. You put your head in, and you lean over, and you just start. You start the bike, and then the motion of the wheels will keep you going. If you want to lift up your feet, you don't need the pedal. Is what they're saying.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's what they're saying. You don't need the pedal.
And that guy's saying, "What's up with this bike?"
It's weird and odd. I don't see it taking
Okay, so
off.
how do you get off quickly?
You have
How
to
do you
dip
get
your
off
head.
the
You have
bike?
to dip your head through that thing.
Or maybe it
Like a
lifts
crouch.
off like on a roller coaster. Now they have the harness. It goes
No,
up
the
and
bike
down.
is one piece. There's no lifting up. You put yourself in it. You dip
See,
your head in.
I'm not paying to coast. I'm paying to ride. Okay, I'm just like, what in the world?
Mark said, it's the only bike that you need. Not worry about theft. No one's gonna.
100% facts. Nobody wants that.
Okay, and here's
What
the
is
thing.
this,
It's like a
Germany?
scooter. It's
What
kind
is
of
it,
like this.
Germany?
Yeah, it's a German company.
They can have it. Germany can have it.
It's like a scooter, right? It's
Where
the same
is
press.
Dr. Tachi? Because we need somebody with who the heck
But we
asked
have
for
scooters.
People
asked
ride
for this?
scooters, right? So on
Who
a
asked
scooter,
for this?
a scooter is at least motorized, right? So you push a little bit and then you motorize, because I still didn't understand the concept.
Well, you know
of
where to
riding a
put your feet on a scooter.
Right. It,
Nobody asked for this.
for this. Okay, because
Okay,
it looks like we went backwards but they're saying that, it's better. Okay, how can you put groceries in? You can't do groceries or nothing because you ain't got no place to put stuff because you're harnessed up. How do you get out of it? Mark said, just
Okay.
buy skates.
Just buy skates, exactly. All righty. On that note, I'm ready.
All right, TJ, take
Let's
it
get into the
away.
Let's get into social media updates for this week. Let's go. Whew. All right, Germany. Okay, we're gonna start with Brave. Has anybody heard of Brave? The browser
BRAVE.
Okay, no, do tell, Terry. Do tell.
Brave. It's a browser. It's been out for a while. I have it. I forget to use it. It's like Chrome. It's a browser that it actually is built on Chrome, whatever the code for Chrome. So it's similar to Chrome, and a lot of people like to use it. So Brave has something called Leo AI Assistant that they're putting into the browser. We mentioned before Opera, another web browser. They have an AI assistant in their browser. So let's talk about what this one is. They're saying it's an AI powered assistant called Leo. And it's it's based on well, they have a paid version. That's really what it is. They want you to pay $15 a month for Leo Premium with features like access to faster and better large language models and higher rate limits. They're saying you can access the Leo Assistant by clicking the Leo icon in the sidebar to start a conversation, or just by typing a question in the address bar, clicking on the Leo icon to get a direct answer. So they're saying that this assistant can do context-aware requests, such as summarizing web pages or video, translating text, and rewriting phrases. All things that any other AI, Chat GPT, Bing, they all do that. Okay, so this is not something new. They're just putting it in the browser. So free users get the basic version of the two models, Llama 2 and Anthropic's Claude LLM. The Llama 2, I believe that's the Meta one. So they're saying free users get the basic version of these models. Paying users will get access to models like Llama 2, Code Llama, and Anthropic Claude Instant. And with Claude AI, there's different levels. Like they have a fast one, a slow one, a short one. They have like 4 or 5 models. So they're saying if you pay the $15, you get all of these models. The models enable faster and more accurate responses. Brave says that all requested Leo use an anonymous service such as a proxy, so they can't be linked back to a particular internet address. They also say that responses are immediately discarded after generation and not stored on any server or used to train models. Now that's different, because when you're using all the other tools, what you type in, they're using to train the future version of it. So you're not helping the other ones to be better.
Okay.
Brave says that all subscriptions are validated by unlinkable token. Excuse me, unlinkable tokens, so the company can't know about your activity or your email. So that's the advantage of using this AI tool inside of Brave, which is free, and then they have a $15 a month version. What do we think of that?
Okay, for me, it's like I don't know you. And so I'd rather stick with the one that I do know. At least I know where to go if something go down.
She said, "I don't know you." Brave is okay to use. It's just my point is that I already have another tool that I like. It comes with Chrome extensions when I use it in Chrome that help me out. So, and I do have Brave. I haven't used it in a while. It's a good browser. It's just if you're
Why?
using Safari or Chrome, pretty much people stick with Safari, Chrome, and Firefox, and the other ones have some market share, but not a lot. Oh, I
Right.
forgot about Microsoft Edge. If you use that for Bing.
Okay, there's a whole reason I don't use Edge too. So, and then there's another browser out called Arc, and I'm like, I'm trying to understand what's the difference between that and Safari, because Safari does all the stuff that does, and I'm like, and it's already part of Apple, so something go down,
Right.
I can call Apple. I can't call y'all when something go down
Right.
on my other stuff.
So see, that's the deal. You're already using your favorite app or browser, so it's hard to get people to use something new. So there are people that use Brave. It's a small number, and like I said, it's built off of Chrome. So I'm like, I just use Chrome
Because it's niche. Okay, and so it's built.
It's the same as it's exactly the same as Chrome. Like the neatness, the things, the tools.
Right.
It's the same. It's just called Brave.
And they are saying on Brave that it's 3 times faster than Chrome and stuff like that, but it ain't Chrome. That's the issue.
I haven't used it. I'll go and see. I didn't know that Brave was supposed to be faster than Chrome. It's just I use Chrome, and then when I open up my computer and do different things, it automatically goes to the default browser, which is Chrome. So I never get a chance to remember and go, oh, let me use Opera. Oh, let me use Brave. I never do that. So, and a lot of people do that. So
right. And so so now while we're in this pool right here, that's the other thing. When you have stuff that you're doing like with StreamYard, some of this stuff some of the things that we do won't work
in
other browsers. They didn't make it work with, you know what I mean?
It's
Like
not
even
compatible.
StreamYard doesn't work with Safari,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
which is fine, okay, but we know this going in. But some of the
And they
other,
tell you.
right, there are other things that you can and cannot do based on browser, you know what I mean? That
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
so that's
So
another.
if you want to use Brave, go ahead. Now they have an AI assistant and they want you to pay. So I say no, but it's there.
You want me to pay for you, and I don't know you.
I don't know you. All right, let's go on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has launched a new AI chatbot to help you get a job. Also, LinkedIn has passed 1 billion members. So they made this announcement this week. So they have so let's get into the chatbot first. So the new AI chatbot, which aims in part to help users gauge whether a job application is worth their time, is powered by OpenAI's GPT-4 and has started rolling out to some premium users this week. Users of the new chatbot can launch it from a job posting by selecting one of a few questions such as, am I a good fit for this job? And how can I best position myself for this job? The former would prompt the tool to analyze a user's LinkedIn profile and experience with answers like, your profile shows that you have extensive experience in marketing and event planning, which is relevant for this role. The chatbot will also point to potential gaps in a user's experience that could hurt them in the job application process. The user can also follow up by asking who works at the company, which will prompt the chatbot to send them a few employee profiles, potentially second or third degree connections, because LinkedIn is first degree, second degree, third degree connections on who you know. Says who the user then can message about the opportunity. The message itself can also be drafted using generative AI. So what it really does is takes the information that's already in LinkedIn instead of you, because you could do that. You could go and say, hey, this company has this job position, who do I know that works there? And you just search for the company and it shows you the people that work there in the search results. So really this chatbot is shortening the process also by helping you with the questions like, am I a good fit for this job? So usually you would look at the requirements and determine that yourself, but in a few seconds, you can use the LinkedIn AI bot and it will let you know if you're a good fit for the job. And
So
we got some comments.
this is like the guidance counselor telling you the stuff on your resume may not work for this particular thing,
A
or it
recruiter.
might work
Mhm.
for this particular thing. So you're getting a person, or not a person, you're getting something to give you some feedback as to whether or not your profile will fit for whatever
Right.
job you're going
So it
for.
could keep some people from wasting their time
Mhm.
submitting their resume or application, even though that doesn't hurt anything. It's just that it makes it easier for the person, the HR person on the other side who gets all of these submissions, and they gotta weed through and make sure the person has the qualifications they put in the job listing. So that could help.
Okay, so I think this is Fred. Um, is it live or is it Memorex? Originality will be the trending term soon,
Hmm.
because that's what's happening right now. That is this AI or is it real? And then
Yeah.
Mark said, call me when the chatbot does the interview, negotiates the best salary and benefits, and provides me with my offer.
Mark, you are funny, but it's going to do that.
It is. And
It's going
then
to do
Fred
that.
said there will be some software on the HR back end to determine what responses was generated by a bot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But see, remember, a part of this is really matching, and they've added a part where you can respond using the bot. But I'll tell you this, a lot of people are already using ChatGPT or Bing or whatever to respond to things on social media. They're already using it. So LinkedIn is just like putting it inside Microsoft is actually putting it inside of LinkedIn because Microsoft owns Bing Chat.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right,
that's
right.
a part of it. But a lot of this is really matching. And then there's a part where if you want to respond, you can respond with the AI response. But this, I always say, I said this from the beginning. Use the tool to give you ideas. Look at the responses, and then you make it sound like you, just
Right.
with some editing. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've had some discussions with people, especially on LinkedIn, about they're like, "Oh, I would never use a chat bot. I would never write." I was like, "You've been always you've used it already. You just didn't know.
Okay,
You didn't know."
this is the same people. I will not use that toaster.
I would not use that here. I'm used to firing up the wood oven
I'm
and
gonna go chop the
baking the
wood.
bread and slicing it. That's
I'm
like
gonna
saying
go,
I don't want to use sliced bread.
I'm gonna go chop the wood and put it in the stove myself. Fred
Um,
says, yeah, avatar interviews. And then,
that's gonna come too.
right.
Everything that we're joking about right now will come to pass.
And he said, revise the AI response. Yes.
Yeah, see, a lot of people use, and we've joked about that too, where people have responded to things by copying and pasting the whole response. Because Chat GPT will say, certainly, here's, it will say things, but you're not supposed to use that. You're supposed to take the response and go, oh, I like that. Let me tweak this word. Let me edit this. Let me refine it to sound like me. And the part about that is that you already have the experience. This is just cutting out the long process of researching and doing this and that, and you use your knowledge as a human to say that doesn't sound right. And I've done that a lot. I was like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like me. But I did do the post, and Fran caught it, where I did a post and I let AI do the whole thing because I wanted to test to see if people are really reading and looking.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, this ain't teaching.
But
it sounds, I mean,
difference.
I was like, because
it was a post, right?
Yeah, it was a good post, but I'm like, TJ does not like. I had to know you and to understand that wasn't you who wrote that.
Right, but I wanted to show that was it. But it's going to be a point. It's going to the tools will get to a point where it will sound like us. It will be us.
Yeah, so Fred said, like with Grammarly, I use the grammatical errors or minus changes, but not the full tone change.
I do too. That's a good tool. That's a good tool to use.
I like that one, and I like, what's the other one? Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Which one?
It's the one where Hemingway, the Hemingway.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hemingway.
Yeah, the
you
Hemingway.
Got it.
Yeah, Hemingway. Where you?
Oh, did you see they have an update? I went to them. They have an update now with AI. They've got some AI stuff in there too.
Oh, I might have to go check that out.
Yeah, Hemingway. You got it right. That's Hemingway.
The Hemingway app. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mark has a comment.
Mark says, I wonder how long it will take before they develop AI that can scan your writing and emulate your tone. Now that will be amazing.
You can do that now.
Yes,
Mark, you can do that now with ChatGPT. You just have to know the prompts to put in, but it's doable. I know what you mean, that it's going to be a one button thing, and that's coming too. But right now, you can do it. You just have to know. I think you have to train it a couple of times on different pieces of writing content, and
so
then you have
to know your style. Yeah,
right. Because it asks you in the questions, and I have the ChatGPT that's not paid, and it asks me. It asked me some questions about me.
Right.
And so I answered those questions. And now every time I write something, they know I like stuff short and direct. So they don't do a whole thing.
And then with the paid ChatGPT, there's a custom prompt where you can put in a certain prompt and it will do it every time. But you can do that now. But I know what Mark is saying. Mark is saying like straight out the box, like there's no refining or teaching. Right now, you have to do it. You have to do a couple of things, to do that, and it will do what you're saying. But I know what you mean. You mean, boom, you give it the prompt, and boom, it sounds like you, and you can go about your business, and that will come soon.
That's coming, Mom.
That's coming.
Okay. Grammarly, Microsoft, and Google email has it. Fred said that they all have it.
Yeah. So it's every app, every tool, everything that you use is going to have AI in it. And I said this earlier this year, get used to it. If a lot of people are upset about AI, this and that. And again, it's a tool that's being misused by some and being doing good things with others. Same thing with the screwdriver. I always say that it's a weapon, or either you build Habitat for Humanity. They use the screwdriver, but they're doing something good with it. Whereas a screwdriver could be a tool to harm someone, or in a criminal act or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It's that you have to see the intent, where we're getting, especially, you know what? I'll bring this up because President Biden, I have it in here. So the
Fred,
government is trying to protect. They're trying to get ahead of it, but how do you get ahead of it? Because the horse is already out the barn, but they're trying their best. Okay, here it is. Biden releases an AI executive order directing agencies to develop safety guidelines. So he signed an executive order this week providing rules around generative AI ahead of any legislation coming from the lawmakers. So the order has 8 goals: to create new standards for AI safety and security, protect privacy, advance equity and civil rights, stand up for consumers, patients and students, support workers, promote innovation and competition, advance U.S. leadership in AI technologies, and ensure the responsible and effective government use of the technology. So, several government agencies are going to be tasked with creating standards to protect against the use of AI, to engineer biological materials, establish best practices around content authentication, and build advanced cybersecurity program. So they're saying the National Institute of Standards and Safety (NIST) will be responsible for developing standards to red team AI models before public release, while the Department of Energy and Department of Homeland Security are directed to address the potential threat of AI to infrastructure and the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and cybersecurity risks. So they're saying developers of large AI models like OpenAI's GPT and Meta's Llama 2 are required to share safety test results. Okay, so here's a quote. They're saying, "We're not going to recall publicly available models that are out there. Existing models are still subject to the anti-discrimination rules already in place." So that's a little bit about it, and that's a lot. I know that was a lot to digest, and they're doing a lot, but we can see that they're trying.
right. And Fred has a couple of comments here. He
Okay.
says, if you write on a consistent basis, yes, your pattern can be picked up. And that's true because it's learning you and
Mm-hmm.
learning your voice. And then he said universities are banning students in certain studies for using AI in graphic design, like generative AI in Photoshop. So
Right. So if you're you're going to school for graphic design and artistry, they might not, they might have a course on using Photoshop Firefly to create generative AI, but then they'll have the other classes will be like, don't use, and that'll be up to the professors really to say, okay, don't do this project, but do not use generative AI, or do this project, but show me what you can do with it. So that's going to
right,
be like up to the departments and the
yeah,
professors how they handle that.
right. Well,
So it's a big ball of wax, and the government is trying to get ahead of this ball, the snowball, the avalanche. Remember that letter earlier this year? They had all these people signing talking about stop AI, and I said never.
it's not, yeah, because everybody went to watch on March on Washington talking about we need to not have AI.
Pause. Was it a 6-month pause or something? Pause, and I
Yeah, they
said
were like,
never.
that ain't happening. Fred said all this AI will hinder students coming up, resulting in abilities in soft skills, hence communication and more. Computers will do it, dumbing down to the masses.
There's already inabilities and soft skills with millennials and Gen Z in the workplace. We talked about that a lot here. How
Right.
they don't understand office communications. What was that? They didn't know what they thought. The thumbs up was a
Was
negative connotation, or there's a lot of disconnect already, because you have to remember, and I talk about Gen Z a lot. They've grown up digital. They know nothing analog.
no.
They don't know the things that we know. They don't teach cursive in school.
Cursive.
Do you
Come
know
on
that?
now.
Do you know that?
They don't. And it's like, how
But
are you going to
you
sign a
need cursive.
signature?
You need cursive because legal documents require a signature.
So, but they print for their signature now. Because I was like, wow.
Who does?
Let's see.
On legal documents?
Yeah,
legal stuff.
Because if you don't know how to, when you get ready to sign, that is your signature when you write it. Because you don't
really. Now I don't know, not here, because I think I took my daughter to DMV or something. You got to sign. There's no writing.
So then you might have to draw something. You need to get.
Well, I mean, I've taught her how to, but for legal documents, you cannot. You have to. It has to be a signature. So I don't know, but that's just one of the things that's happening.
Okay, so okay, Fred says AI is fast food compared to home cooking. It's like fast food, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then Mark says, let's let a group that doesn't even know how to email regulate technology.
You're trying, Mark. That's what. Oh, listen. If you knew how the government really works,
don't
touch be mad. There would be pitchforks and fires in the streets.
Analog is a new energy drink to Gen Z.
Gen Z. They don't know analog.
And then he said, yes, legal signage is print or a series of numbers in many forms.
Really?
Yeah. Because there are people who do not know how to sign. When you go and you can make an X as your signature, and you're
really?
Like, yeah.
They can do that?
You can always sign with an X. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Always could. Because,
some people didn't know how to write.
Yeah, illiteracy was very common prior to.
Right, I know that. I know the history of the X. I'm just saying, people.
And they still allow it. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. So your government is working on it, and they're doing the best they can. And
Fred said X is like in antebellum days.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Wow. So I mean, but they're trying. The government is trying. They're not just going, oh well, we can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and I've always known this, that private industry is leaps and bounds and light years ahead of whatever the government is doing. Because I've seen it. Carolyn has seen it. I've seen the technology side of it. So they're not. You would think they had the latest and the greatest things.
Not unless it's the least expensive.
No. Everything is this old back. Private companies, when I say private industries and companies, I mean like CNN or Microsoft or Nike or corporations that you know of. They have the latest and the greatest technology. Google does and all that because they make it their business to have that. The government doesn't do that.
They want like Terry said, they want the cheapest option.
They have a budget. Mm-hmm. Remember that budget thing that's coming up now? That's why.
You mean it's not coming up?
Mark said, I went to handwrite something the other day and realized how much my penmanship has declined because I seldom use my hands to write anymore.
See, the key to that, Mark, and I do this, you're gonna have to, I journal. So you have to journal.
With a and write it and just take it or get your Apple pencil or something and keep writing.
Or you could do it digitally, but you gotta, if you don't, it's like he said, it's a skill that if you're not using it, it's
evaporates.
Like, and I'm thinking we're going into a world where this new generation and Gen Alpha, remember Gen Alpha's coming up, those are the under 13s, they're really not going to do any of the stuff that the disconnect is going to be huge with them.
So we can have a
Huge.
secret. We can write a secret note, and they wouldn't understand it here, and they would
You could
read it.
write in
And this is
cursive and
in
put it
code.
on a piece of paper, and they're gonna say, "Well, what is this piece of paper? And what is this thing that ink comes out of it?" They're not gonna know any of that. And you can, like Fran said, you can write a secret code on a in cursive and say here, and they're not gonna know anything about that. First of all, they're gonna like, why are you handing me this white thing? What is this paper? What is paper? They don't know what that is. They're not gonna know what that is. So that's what I'm saying. You get into the mind of that generation that they're not. If it's not digital, they don't know.
Fred says, I'm on a committee for the National Career Clusters Framework, Arts,
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment, and Design Industry Advisory Group. And we are pushing natural communication skills to networking, public speaking, and more. Then he
Mm-hmm.
says, my hands cramp, but I started using Apple iPad and pencil. Okay, I'll have to tell y'all about that
I
later.
love the pencil.
I do
Mm-hmm.
too. Cursive is the new hieroglyphic.
True.
Oh, Mark said, when I was young, I was left handed, humiliated by my teacher, and switched to my right hand. Now I am no handed. I am keyboard friendly.
That's horrible. That's horrible. So see, that's how things happened back when we were kids. They forced you to do. Now they can't do that. They cannot force it. To you're
Change,
left-handed.
make
You
you
must write
change.
with your yeah. So
Uh,
well, that's what's going on.
Fred says someone could start a paid summer camp in cursive and speech class.
I agree with that. Speech is always going to be needed. I mean, because we have the digital tools, we're doing everything digital, but and I've thought about this, telling a story, that's the way we connect. Even though there's digital and everything's online and this and that, but to connect with another human being, you're going to have to auditory speech, say something and learn. And there's a way to do it. So he's right. Fred's right. Speech
Okay.
class.
Continue, Miss Terry.
Okay, so let's move along. Let me go back to my spot where I was. Did I talk about WhatsApp?
No.
No? Okay, let's talk about WhatsApp real quick. WhatsApp is working on an alternative profile privacy feature. So this is testing. They're working on a feature as a new tool to mask your information and will be available in a future update of the app. So it will allow users to configure a different photo and name that would be visible to those contacts who cannot see your primary profile information. For example, if only your contacts can see your profile photo, this means that people outside of your contact list cannot see it, but they will be able to see your alternate profile picture. Okay, so that's what they're saying, that you'll have a new layer of security and privacy. So your contacts will see you as you, but someone who's not in your contacts list will see an alternate profile photo and feature.
Hold on. Hold everything. Don't try nothing. So what I hear you saying is when I come in here, because I'm friends with you four, y'all see the real me. But if Boo Boo shows up, he sees Marilyn Monroe or whoever I
Something else.
decide to be my alter ego.
I guess your avatar, because we have avatars on
Yeah.
Facebook or whatever that I don't use. They need to fix that because I don't like the way my avatar looks. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
Digital code
Okay,
switching.
so Fred said it's basically digital code switching. So that means they won't be able to see.
So the short answer is yes.
Okay. Yeah, digital code switching. Okay. So TJ, I have a question about WhatsApp. And after you finish explaining this whole, we get to see, I get to see you guys, but I won't be able to see other people that are not in my contacts. Is that correct?
Right. So it's basically like, in Facebook, you can make different profiles. Or in Facebook, even if you don't have different profiles, if you have a main profile, you can make what's called lists. And then when you post things to the list, only people on that list get to see it. But the general group of your friends don't, because you've isolated that post to a certain the close friends list. Think of it as the close friends only get to see you as whatever you put on your WhatsApp versus a general public one. Because that's how Facebook works now. A lot of people don't know that. It's always been like that. You could have public posts, friends only
Mhm.
list. You can make a subset of your friends and they go. So that's how it works. It's
Okay,
always been there.
so I had a situation yesterday, no,
Mm-hmm.
day before yesterday. I'm scrolling through looking at something and I get this notification that pops up
Mm-hmm.
from somebody saying they wanted to connect and talk about something. It doesn't matter what the subject was, but it was from WhatsApp and my WhatsApp wasn't open.
Right.
That is not
Mm.
cool with me. I was
See,
like,
that's
I,
why I
I
don't
was
use
like,
it.
hold on a minute. I only had WhatsApp because my daughter went to Europe and we wanted
Right.
to connect. And I'm like, now I got to take this off my phone or take the app off because I was like, I did not open WhatsApp. I didn't
That's what I
accidentally touch
remember that
it.
story years ago that they had the hackers, was it forgot who it was. They had the hackers and they could hack a phone through WhatsApp, and WhatsApp wasn't even open. It was just the fact that you had it installed that they could hack your phone. So I got rid of it.
I just listen, they got way too much secrecy, alleged secrecy going on over on WhatsApp. Reminds me of Telegraph.
Mm-hmm.
Telegram. Mm-hmm.
So Fred says spam on WhatsApp, the home of getting hacked and ID theft.
And
Mm-hmm.
So,
I see the use for WhatsApp. Like you said, if you're going to Europe, you're going to another country, it's an easy way to communicate. But
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere yet. So I'll find a different way to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
because having an app on my phone that I did not open at all could open my phone, which has personal financial information that they could hack.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
and
When I could use any other tool to communicate.
And Terry, I did not open my WhatsApp. WhatsApp is not nowhere near the beginning of my screen, but it'll be off here as of now. Because I was like, okay, nobody I
Lady Fred
know.
is working on that right now.
Uh,
I can tell.
exactly because
I could tell your
um,
head was down and your pencil was up, girl.
I was like, oh no. I was like, what
So
the
see,
heck is
there
this?
it is from experience. From what I read, this story. Wait, I think this was like 2017 or something.
Right. And I hadn't used it because I didn't want, I was like, okay, it's kind of like TikTok. I don't want you on my phone either. But
Right. So you
Is
see what goes on.
I was like, what the heck? I was like, I didn't open this.
isn't this the hey, good morning? No,
Hey,
Good
it's
morning.
Auntie, Audrey.
afternoon. Well, it's
Oh,
afternoon for
afternoon.
me, but good morning for you all on the West Coast. So, is it this part of the reason for the rise of alternative WhatsApp alternatives like Signal and Telegram, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Also, Terralina, Boo
Mhm.
Boo called me and said, "How did he get put in all this?"
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
you know what? In light of what we just talked about, I'd rather pay the extra money to T-Mobile for roaming and call
Mm-hmm.
somebody, or T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, whoever
Right.
you have.
Right.
I'd rather just pay the extra money for the call than to have somebody up in my stuff.
See, this is
Send
Exactly.
them
the
the
part
app.
this is the price we pay for being digital. You have to be diligent as to what you install on your devices. A lot of people using WhatsApp and they don't really care about that. I'm like, I do. A lot of people using TikTok, but they're not concerned with what could possibly. And there was another story I forgot to read that something happened. The Chinese government could see some data on
Mm.
TikTok somewhere. I forgot where. I have to go back and see. So I'm like, I don't want to open my phone up to that. So I have a dummy phone. That dummy phone, that means it's a throwaway. I don't really care what's on it. You want to There's nothing on it to get,
It's like a burner
guys.
phone. And that's an
Yeah.
excellent idea because I just bought another phone and I have the other one that, it's obviously older, but it will still work for certain things. So I could
This
just kind of
old
like,
Android phone that I
yeah.
got from somebody. One of the neighbors didn't want something. I took it. I was like, we took it, and I use TikTok on that, the internet.
Oh, that's an excellent idea. Oh,
I mean, and then people can say, "Oh, well, they're gonna hack your internet." They're not hacking my internet, not mine. So,
mm,
but I don't do anything on it. So
not
Mhm. Mhm.
not the
away.
sister to Jason Bourne. Never.
No.
Back away. So I mean, but that's what we have to think about it. It's unfortunate, but it's up to us. You bought the device, you have to learn, and this is why we're here talking about it. You have to see what's going on, learn what's going on. Fran just said they got through her phone. She didn't even open them WhatsApp. And what? So you gotta say, hey, I don't need WhatsApp. There's a million other, and just exaggerating, but there's other apps.
Okay, and Fred says the solution may be use Google Voice. And
That's
I'm
it
like,
right
okay,
there.
I can do that. I can use Google Voice because I'm like, oh, that was not going to be the business right there.
Google Voice, been around for years. Get
Mm-hmm.
a number, use it.
Yes. And you can have a number from anywhere. I have a New York City number for my Google Voice. So people are like, oh, you're in New
Oh,
York?
but that's why I can't get a New York number. I'm just kidding.
But I don't have the good New York numbers like
Oh yes, the
212
good,
or
yeah, the
917.
917.
I have 347. So, I have the
But three
after
four
market
seven, 34. And wait now, 347 is getting some shine. So don't,
Mhm.
because there's nothing
don't.
else left.
Right.
That's why.
So with 917, the 347 646. I have the
Right.
646.
A 718,
So
like my sister has a
yeah,
718.
yeah, 718. Most
Yeah.
that's like Brooklyn and Queens and stuff.
Right.
Not yeah, but Manhattan is like 212.
212. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So but 347 don't, it's coming.
Yeah,
This
no. I'm not
is
sleeping on it. I got my little
yeah,
347
it's
number,
not
so
like
I'm
who
good.
is this? Is a scam. It's like 347. So
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the next area code that people are like, what? But 347 is okay.
Fred said, buy old devices, use alternative profiles, and more. And
Yes.
nobody said, nobody said you had to tell the truth when you signed up on the platforms.
Mm.
See, this is
Keep
a lot
the
of
old-
work to keep your personas straight, though.
Yeah, that's
That's a
what
lot of
that was
work.
my point, Dr. Tanya. That it's unfortunate that we have to take on this responsibility. But it's that, or do you want to be hacked? Do you want your bank account, your bank information, your financial health information? Because data privacy, piracy is big money. So don't
Right.
think who wants my stuff. It doesn't matter. You
They
don't have to
do.
be President Biden. You don't have to be Beyonce. You don't have to be Taylor Swift. Just regular old you.
Right, because they are using people's medical stuff to
Yes.
scam the Medicare. Somebody scams somebody in buying medical supplies and stuff using
Right.
somebody else's ID.
Right.
Fred said, coming into the digital world is like coming into the world as a newborn coming in with your birthday suit.
Somebody got to tell you where the landmines are. That's what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he says Google Voice is his business line, and he added a custom voicemail message, not the generic Google voicemail tone.
That's what you do.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's so many tools, it feels like, that you don't really have to, if you want to be incognito, or in my case, incognito, I could be.
And the Google Voice is voice over IP technology. So it's not just Google Voice. There are other companies, but Google is, you get a Google account and you get all this great stuff with it. So use it. So
Google's just easy too.
Right.
Like really, most people already have a Gmail or some sort of account.
Right.
So it's just then a question of, go to the 9 dots at the top and then look at voice and set it up. So they've made it relatively seamless because you're already in the ecosystem.
Right. You're already there. And I know people say, well, Google's this horrible they're all bad. But you're in the world. We're already in the ocean. We're in the soup. We're in the pot. And they're turning the fire up. And it's like, okay, well, one is better than no, they're all the same. Meta, Google, TikTok, they're all.
One
It's just
nasty
that
too.
with my thing with TikTok is that it's not a US based company, US owned company. That's my fault with them. So,
Oh,
but
I
they're in
do
the
have
pot
another
too.
question for you. Sorry
Hmm.
to interrupt.
Go ahead.
So, the obviously with a lot of these Chinese or China based apps, there is concern
Yep.
of what could be done. So another thing that I saw, and kills me to say this, I don't know that I'm going to do anything about it anytime soon, but Timu
Mm,
is another one that there have been concerns
I can
about.
see. They
Um,
need to
I,
be.
mhm.
listen, they got good stuff. I have
They
to wean
do.
Mhm.
myself off of it.
But Timu was like, come over here, come buy this. We have this, and luring you over there. And I'm like, no, something's wrong with y'all.
Something is wrong, but listen, I think, listen, hear me out. I think part of the thing is there is a tangible product there that so some people may be like TikTok, whatever, and not care because they're not users of TikTok. They don't consume enough of the content to make it viable to have on their devices. However, Timu offers a product that is viable, that is an alternative. So Timu is like, for those people who don't know, it's a marketplace. So
Mm,
it's like an Amazon, like a Chinese Amazon or
Mhm.
Alibaba,
Mhm.
right? Any of
Mhm.
those types of
mhm.
things. So there are different sellers on there that sell things. Not everything is the greatest quality, but some stuff is, is quite damn good, I have to say. So I think the difference between TikTok and Timu is that there is something there that people actually want. People may want to be entertained and stuff by TikTok, but again, that's why you see there is a heaviness of Gen Zers,
Mhm.
Gen
Mhm.
Alphas,
Mhm.
younger, and younger millennials on there. Other people are on there, but it's very heavily those three groups. But
Right.
Timu is every damn body because it's so cheap. So
Mhm.
I think that's the difference.
And Fred
See,
has a comment. He says Timu Home is getting hacked and lose your finances.
mhm.
and lose your finances.
See, but that's why you don't put your credit card number in there.
No,
You
no,
do
no.
have the option to pay through PayPal.
Don't.
So
Thank you. Let me tell you. Please don't store your credit card anywhere.
Mm-mm.
This was a while back with this a few years. Domino Pizza.
Mhm.
You could store your credit card in there. Well, we did that, and somebody was ordering pizza like in the Bronx. I don't live in the Bronx. And we were like, how did they get? I don't know how they got into to the account because I'm real careful about the password. So, but
Mhm.
because the credit card was stored, because it was easy, we want pizza, you
Yes.
just order it. So now it's like, okay, I don't store my card anywhere,
Mm-mm.
even though it's more convenient. It's just that I don't want to deal with that, and thankfully it was only maybe $30 worth of pizza. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't, but I still want my $30. But anyway, I'm just saying, don't store your
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 card.
uh credit, your
you
card.
you can always do like a third party payment app like a
Yes,
PayPal, which I always do, and
yes,
PayPal remembers me on my devices. So if
yes.
I'm going to buy something, I
Mm-hmm.
always pay through PayPal if that is the option. And it's like,
Right.
okay, we recognize you on this device. It takes you
Mm-hmm.
to PayPal, you pay, then you go back to the site.
Right.
So the
And there's
site
a
never
level of
sees your number.
protection. Yeah, there's a level of protection where you can get your money back. But if you directly and then this wasn't a credit card, I think it was a debit card. So if we do a debit card, it's just gone.
Right.
It's like
Mhm.
cash. It's just
Because the
gone.
credit card company
The
will.
credit card company, yes, but it was a debit card, and it was like, okay, that money's gone. So I was like, now I'm real careful with, okay, who are you and what?
Mhm.
I get my debit card. So yes, the doctor is right. So if you use PayPal or any of the other third party payment processing apps, there's a level of protection that you have. So
Really quickly, I hate to say this though,
mhm.
Terry, but that's what you get for being a New Yorker where there's good pizza and you order Domino's. That
It
is the
was
price you pay.
convenient. Listen, it was convenient. Sometimes I'm like, it's late, it's dark. I'm like, I'm not at a certain time. I'm not going out. I don't care if I don't have any food in here and I can't get it delivered. I'm like, okay.
Hmm. Mark got some comments here. Mark says Timu says, buy this for $1.99 and you may receive it via international shipping in
Uh-huh.
60 to 90 days.
90 days, because that come from China and all the
Mhm.
shipping and stuff. So
You're right. And
um
then Fred said Timu is TikTok's cousin.
He's not lying.
don't forget about Lemonade. Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lemonade
lemonade.
come sliding in too. Fred said get a prepaid card and using Timu. Yep, use
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah,
Okay,
and
but you still have the app on your phone, which is what we were talking about with WhatsApp and the hacking and not opening the Timo.
unless you go online, I'm not shopping at
Yeah,
Timu. Let's just put it that way.
you could shop through the website.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he said he uses Apple Wallet and PayPal.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So all
use.
of these examples are showing us that, and let me get real back to what Dr. Tali was saying about the TikTok and the Temu and people using it, and that's what I was saying about the ban with TikTok. It's not going to happen because Gen Z doesn't care. They're on there. So the people that use Temu, they don't care because I'm buying something that's cheap or whatever. I don't really care about the Chinese security. I don't care about national security. They don't care about that thing because it's like going to Walmart and getting something cheap. I don't really care how it was made or they have, the Chinese children labor. People don't care about that. They should, but they don't. So that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. So what do we do? I don't know. Real quick, I just remembered the TikTok story. It came out Forbes this week. A platform story: TikTok's corporate secrets was inspected by the Chinese government officials, and they said this occurred a year ago. Take that as you will. That was a year ago. And it's just the report is just coming out. So, so TikTok says that Chinese government has no access to anything TikTok
Whatever.
related, and that's not true. So
Oh, we knew it true when they said that they didn't have it. So
right. So like I said, we talked about TikTok. I use it on a phone as non-essential, non-information, non-whatever, and everybody should do what's right for them. The thing about WhatsApp, I know the use for WhatsApp because of the international, conversation, and you have family and friends. But then you have to decide: do I want to use WhatsApp, or can we move to something else? And then the something else might not be so secure. There's no 100%. I'm not going to get hacked. I'm not going to, there's nothing that does that. But we have to take the opportunity and say, is it worth having this app on my phone that I have my personal data, financial data, health information? Do I want to expose that to anything? And you go, no. So, and that gets back to earlier in the show when Carolyn was the story about the company that's the clearinghouse and the protection of data. So that's where we're headed.
yeah.
And that's going to be one of many companies. The one that what was the name? I forgot the name of it, but it's going to be one of many.
CAI, yeah.
It's the CAI, but it's too close to the CIA. But anyway, Fred says Gen Z moves fast, not self-aware. Boom, get hacked, and they educate the older folks.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to. I got a few more, and then I know Dr. Tati has some stories. So let me get back here. Where are my notes? Okay, so real quick, OpenAI is rolling out. What is this thing popping up on the iPad? Okay, OpenAI is rolling out new beta features for Chat GTP Plus members. Subscribers have the ability to upload files and work with them, as well as multimodal support. That means different modes of using the tools inside of ChatGPT. So what it is that when you go into ChatGPT, you won't have to select. Like if you wanted to use Bing, you have to select it. So they're saying that won't be there. And also they have an app store, or not an app store. They have a plugin store, and you can add on plugins that help you with keyword research, summarizing YouTube videos, summarizing PDFs and things like that. So they're saying this update allows users to upload documents and have them analyzed. That's you can upload PDFs and things like that. This new version is currently in beta and rolling out to some Chat GPT Plus subscribers. and you have the ability to upload many types of documents, including PDFs or data files. So that's from ChatGPT or OpenAI. YouTube is limiting some video recommendations to teenagers. They will impose restrictions on how often teens receive repeated video recommendations related to sensitive topics like body image and other eating disorders and other things like that. So the safeguards are the result of partnership with the Youth and Family Advisory Committee. That committee has psychologists, researchers, and child development experts and different things. So they're saying that they're working with this committee to identify categories of videos that could potentially pose a problem if viewed repetitively. So they won't get those recommendations. So you know how that's YouTube, when you watch a video, they assume that you like that. So when you close it and go back in, they show you more. So
Yes.
if they somehow watch a video that has sensitive topics like this, YouTube will not recommend them to teenagers. So there will be the age limit. So don't worry if you're an adult that okay they're going to do that to us. No, it's age limit. Let's see. So they also are going to put in take a break and bedtime reminders. Like TikTok does that. Like you've been on too long, get off, take a break. So YouTube is going to do that. So and you know this comes from the Meta, was it last week that Meta's being sued and Google being sued by all these states for affecting children's
Addiction.
mental health? Yes. So this is a part of it. YouTube is trying to get ahead of it. Another one from Google. Google is making it easier to buy from small businesses. So they're having updates to Google Shopping and will provide more information about retailers and allow merchants to jazz up their product listing using generative AI. Here we go again. I tell you that AI is going to be everywhere. So there's new shopping features that allow merchants to quickly update product imagery using generative AI and make it easier to display important shop information to attract new customers. So you can label yourself with a new small business attribute that makes it easier for shoppers to identify mom and pop style stores. So stores that carry this new attribute will be labeled as a small business in Google Maps. And
Mm-hmm.
products sold will feature a small business tag in Google search. So these updates are only applying to US based retailers that use Merchant Center or Business Profile, including the Google and YouTube shopping app on Shopify. So they're saying these attributes will automatically apply to some listings based on factors like the business web traffic, number of store locations, and how many products it offers. Retailers can remove these attributes in the merchant center or business profile settings if they don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Google is releasing something called Product Studio. It's an AI-powered tool. It talked about back in May about this. Allows shopping merchants to make visual adjustments to product pictures, such as removing backgrounds and increasing low resolution images. So basically, the tool is to allow you to make your product photos or your photos that you upload about your business to make them look better. And also you could do backgrounds with text and image prompts like Midjourney and DALL-E. And they're saying Product Studio is out today. All Merchant Center Next users in the US. It'll also be available via the Google and YouTube app on Shopify. So if you've got a Shopify store, look for that. And let's see, we got one more from well, I got a couple more. TikTok, Snapchat, and others sign a pledge to tackle AI generated child sex abuse images. So this ties into what's been going on this week with all of the information, the executive order, and then Google doing what it's doing with YouTube. So they signed a joint statement pledging to work together to counter child sex abuse images generated by artificial intelligence. So this was announced in Britain, but is a joint statement with the U.S., German, and Australian governments. Okay, so they're looking at that. So here's a quote: "We resolve to sustain the dialogue and technical innovation around tackling child sexual abuse in the age of AI." So they want to get ahead of it now, and they made a joint statement. So they're working on that. So that's a multi-country initiative. And Instagram is developing a customizable AI friend. Yes, an AI friend. So they've been spotted developing an AI friend feature that users will be able to customize and converse with AI friend. So you can chat with the AI to answer questions, talk through any challenges, brainstorm ideas, and much more. So I think I have a picture. You want to see it real quick?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Why?
Yeah, what is the purpose? Is this because it sounds like a knockoff of Roblox? But go ahead.
All right,
It
let's look at
sounds
it
like
real.
who
I knew
asked
you
for
would
this?
want to look at it. So let's look at it. Let me pull up the image. And I got this is what I so many
Fred,
tabs.
Fred has a comment. I'm sorry, this funny. He
Okay.
says, so AI is taking out the old school invisible friend.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's a couple of steps. Create the AI, make an AI, select the gender, select the age, pick the ethnicity, and personality. So it's like a bunch of steps that you have to go through. And
Shut up.
so you make the friend. Remember,
Oh,
you had an
boy.
invisible friend is not invisible anymore.
You get to create your friend. Wow.
Yes. So once you have made your selection, you will be able to select an avatar and a name for your AI friend. You would then be taken to a chat window where you could click a button to start talking with your AI friend. Instagram has declined to comment on this story.
Well, I don't know how bad that is because at least we don't have to go all over the world trying to find a black friend for our kids. Okay.
Okay, I got this situation though. If you have to, didn't they just come from with in front of Congress about doing stuff that's going to be addictive for kids or
Yeah.
addictive?
Well,
Then
this is AI friend. This doesn't say for kids. This could be.
okay, but
Remember, we
It could
if
talked
be
kids
for
earlier.
lonely
But
adults.
remember, we talked earlier, friend, this week on Tuesday, we talked about this about the AI and the social and the interaction with the elderly and senior homes and stuff like that, and how they're in Tokyo, they're hiring toddlers to
Mhm,
Yeah.
come. They actually pay the parents to bring the kids to interact with the seniors
Oh, really?
right.
because they don't have any
Family.
socialization other than with the other seniors. So this we were saying about like old man Steve on TikTok and stuff. So social media's come along to bring them a friend,
Mm.
someone to chat with for mental health or wellness, or to have somebody to have a conversation with, and it makes them feel better.
And they were
That's what
saying,
this is about.
they were saying about using this for mental health purposes in the U.S.
Yes.
Okay.
because people are lonely.
Yes.
Um, and also they've been, what would you call it? They haven't been social because of the recent pandemic.
Right.
So
The isolation is
that's
the key.
the term. There you go. Thank you.
So, so Fred said cultural and race selection. Then he says you create 5 IG friends and place each one on 5 old devices and place it around your home. Ta-da! You got friends.
That's about the size of it. I know it sounds silly, but
Right. But their test, it's a test. It's not, it may not come to fruition. It may not be added.
it
It
may
may
not be popular. It's going to come
right,
to fruition, but it may not be
right.
popular.
And it may not be them that brings it to fruition. So that you, okay, I was going to say Frankenstein. So you are putting together your friend.
So remember, this is it's a test, and it's discovered. There are people that coders and engineers and stuff that they make it their job to look at the code of each social media app. That's how we know what's coming, because they can see that they have to test it, so they know what to look for. So that's what happened. One of the app researchers saw it, and again,
Mhm.
they test things and they put them in the app or they don't, but it's a test.
Um,
Okay.
Fred said test nothing is coming.
Sounds like Build a Bear Workshop to me.
Oh, it is. It's a
But
building.
you have to realize that what Carolyn and I was saying is a lot of older people who are isolated or,
And I
you
get
know,
that, but if the okay, because they try to keep kids off of Instagram or whatever, younger people. But if somebody gets a hold of that and let the the
Listen, they
the
think
young
that.
people get to it,
Well, then you get what you get. You know what you get? You get the Golden Bachelor. That's what you get.
golden,
That's what you get.
golden
Are we
bachelor.
hating on the
People run
Golden
out of
Bachelor
stuff.
now?
People run out of stuff to do. Then you get wonderful.
But you know what?
Golden shenanigans.
Yes,
People are actually liking this Golden
yes,
Bachelor.
Yeah, I heard it
yes,
got good ratings, right?
Yeah,
yes. He'll
yeah,
be
because they're
back.
tired of the rubbish and tomfoolery.
of the old, the young ones, like
The
y'all don't know.
senior bachelor. All right, I got a couple more. Let's go through them. So, Instagram adds song lyric displays in reel clips, so you can add song lyrics to reels, and you can have that to have engagement on reels. So, that's there. Facebook and Instagram has launched a paid ad-free subscription. You know, this is in Europe. We talked about this on Tuesday. You can pay a fee to get no ads, and the subscription prices in the EU will be 9.99 euros per month on the web, or 12.99 euros a month on iOS and Android, to account for additional fees for those platforms. So this is meant to address the concerns because the EU has different privacy laws, and they're saying they don't like Meta's ad targeting and data collection practices. So Meta said, okay, here's the paid version. So they're releasing that. And you know, if it works out for them and Meta gets a lot of money from this, expect it to come over here. Now, here's the deal. The ad-free subscription is only available to people 18 and older in the EU, EEA, and Switzerland. It initially appear across all linked Facebook and Instagram accounts. Meta will eventually charge extra for linked accounts, and it will be an extra additional fee of €6 on the web or €8 on iOS and Android per linked account. As long as someone remains subscribed, their data will not be used for ad targeting. The free so what they're saying is they will always have an ad supported version, but now they're doing the ad free, which is the YouTube model. This is what YouTube does. Once Meta gets used to all that money flowing in, if they decide to do it over there, they're gonna say, hey, we might bring that over to the US and the other countries. So I'm just saying, get ready. Um, so that's what's going on with Meta. One more, Threads posts don't have to show up on Instagram and Facebook. What this is that they're testing a setting that your Threads posts will not show up on Instagram or Facebook, because they do that now. You can go to Instagram and there's a little shelf section that has thread posts, and when you tap on it, it goes to Threads. They also have the same thing on Facebook. You'll be in your Facebook app and you'll see these little shelf, which is the little scroll section. It's called the shelf, and it will have threads from the app Threads. It will have posts from Threads, and then when you tap on it, it goes to Threads. People don't like that, so they're working on a way to toggle so your posts will only stay on Threads. So that's what's going on with that. And also, they're working on a Threads API for Threads. This will give a developers a chance to create different apps and experiences around Threads. So they're working on this API. And also, this API will give a third-party app ecosystem, will give ways for people to explore the network in alternative ways. This means that developers can work on creating third-party apps and things that will work with Threads. So that's what that is. And that is your updates for this week.
Woo, girl.
A lot, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
alrighty then. I think I need to go to the movies after this. Come on, Dr. Tachi.
Wow. Well, yeah, yeah. You deserve. Well, no,
A
I don't know.
break today.
You deserve a break. The movies, I don't know, but you do
I
deserve a
don't know about
break.
the movies till the
Yeah,
color purple come out.
we already know, DJ. Well, lots going on in the world of media, and you guys are actually getting it first because I did not do the my normal media scope this week. I did IG only, and we did it was really interesting. We talked about everybody's probably heard about this whole thing with the food critic from social media, Keith Lee. Have you been hearing about this?
Oh
No.
yeah, I'm glad you're talking about it. I was gonna mention it, but I was like, it would be too much to explain. So you can explain it. I'm up to date on it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, there is a TikToker and social media influencer. His name is Keith Lee, and what he's been doing is going to different restaurants and doing reviews. Now, these are predominantly black, well, not even predominantly, they have been black restaurants that he's gone to, and he is now in ATL. So they've gone around to different cities. He's now in ATL. Well, ATL is shaking in their grass wall covered boots, these restaurants, because,
Really?
yeah, because he really, it's like if he comes into your restaurant, it's a great, now he does it very lovingly,
Mhm.
gives a review. What he does is he sends in usually family members, right?
Right.
And so they don't know that it's him. They'll order, and what has come out is there are so many restaurants in ATL that don't take orders, like call-in orders, so you can't do
Yes.
that. And so he goes there, sends in somebody else to see, and then they'll just bring out the food if they can. um so we'll bring out the food, and so it's
But
been very interesting.
tell
Go
tell
ahead.
him tell him why he's so big. He's on TikTok and he has like 15 million, almost 15 million followers, right?
Yeah,
On
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he has probably about, is it like 4 million or 3 million on Instagram?
Wow.
Right. But see, I see Carolina's face like, why do we care about this young man?
No, no. It sounds like something we would have done when we were in college. We
Well, he
just would
started
have.
this during the pandemic because he wanted to do was help small business owners,
Get
restaurants
noticed. Yeah.
get noticed. So when he reviews honestly, and he does it in his car, it's nothing fancy. When he does a review, he gives his honest opinion, and people fly
Yeah.
over to the restaurant and they
Yes.
just get money out the.
Yeah.
So what happened with Atlanta? They asked him to come to Atlanta,
Okay.
and I don't even know
They
how to
shouldn't have asked
explain
him to
it.
come to Atlanta, basically.
What? Well, here's two more things. I hate to step on
No,
your
go
toes,
ahead.
'cause I know you're telling it. Cardi B made a video on TikTok you're talking about Keith Lee that blew up. Then Keith Lee went to the Old Lady Gang restaurant in Atlanta, which is
Hmm.
owned by
Candy
Candy
Burris' mother,
from
and
the
yeah.
Real House out of Atlanta. Candy Burris made a response video. So the things that's happening blew it up to where Hearst magazine. This is when I started following Hearst magazine's website. Started pick the restaurant one started picking up this story. That led to CBS Mornings picking up the story. That led to CNN picking up to the story, and now the New York Times today,
Exactly.
Wow.
yesterday.
Exactly. Now I didn't know about the times, but
Yeah, that came out. That I just did a search, so that came out. The New York Times, 2 days ago.
now
Here's
see,
a,
go
and
ahead.
now here's an update because I follow him a little bit because I'm interested in this. He put out another video a day or two ago. He's getting death threats because people are angry about his honest reviews about the Atlanta situation,
Now see,
and he's getting death threats. So
Well,
one of
most
the radio
influencers do.
personalities in Atlanta said that he talked to Keith, and he said he's never coming to Atlanta again because him and his family actually getting death threats over this, and it's
Mm.
ridiculous.
Atlanta, I need you to go and sat down somewhere. As they say in the South, sat down somewhere. First of all, there's this whole persona that, and I'm getting to a point also with this. I mean, this is media as well. So Atlanta really is starting to get, there's this whole, but beyond the mom and pops and the original eateries, there's this whole culture of restaurants as club scene that is
Yes.
Mm.
starting to happen in Atlanta, and
Yes.
that has been happening for a while. You go to Buckhead, you go to any of these places, and that's why I said the grass walled warriors. All of them have these grass walls, and it's like a really Instagrammable moment. A
Mm.
lot of it is more about the more about the
Experience.
experience than the food, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Or they say it's about both, but really it ends up being about the experience. There's lines outside of places. It's exclusive. Some of these places have dress codes. Listen, I just want to sit
Mhm.
down and eat. Okay, so you got a lot of this pretentiousness that's
Right.
going on in the Atlanta food scene. That, if you're just like a regular person, it's
I
like,
just want to
okay,
eat.
I
I
look,
just want
I
to
just
eat.
want to eat, and then you go in there and the food is just mediocre after all this. Then it kind of doesn't sit well. But there
Right.
are people in Atlanta that like, no, exactly, because these places have, you went to the wrong place or something like that. So
Right.
it's really interesting because all of this like sparked from social media, as Terry said, or TJ said, in the pandemic, and a way to
Yeah.
give highlight and shine. And see, the people that are opening their mouths to threaten don't also see that he will go into these places and he'll ask them, what did you make today? and
Right.
and they'll say,
As a
oh, I made
regular
like
person.
2,500. And they're
Hmm.
like, he's like, okay, well, will you charge my card for 2,500? So he will match what they
Ah.
made that for that day.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's
Right.
also done things like gone into like a shoe store, a sneaker store, and
Hmm.
told them, can you look for people that look like they wouldn't be able to buy it, and we're going to buy their shoes.
Gonna
And
Right.
bless them.
just wonderful things like that. So also like looking at giving back. But
Right.
we had this whole conversation on Wednesday, to the point of why we didn't do news. We did a whole conversation on this, and there is
Hmm.
another critic, Darius Williams. He's known as Darius Cooks on
Yeah.
Instagram. So we were, having our conversation. So I brought up Darius Cooks. Now he has a different approach. He's very straightforward. He
Hmm.
holds no punches. Gives
Hmm.
not two damns what people say.
I've seen one of his reviews where he went into the restaurant. I've seen it. He's very honest, and the one I saw, he spoke to the owner. Like,
Yes,
he told her like what was wrong.
right,
Mhm.
And I think
exactly.
she took, I think he got more. I only saw the one, but she took it to heart. So they're doing a service to where you want to survive as a business owner. It's just not, I'm putting up a sign, I got a grass wall, you got to be dressed in Gucci whatever to get in, and the food is horrible and the service is horrible. That's not how business survives, especially post pandemic. We're not taking that. So
No, no, not, especially not if there was one place that Darius went to, and the fried chicken, this is with no sides, was like $25. Uh,
what?
yeah. There were no sides. It was just the chicken itself. I don't know how many stupid pieces, but was $25. And the owner thought it was okay. And see, this is another end of the conversation, that there are restaurant owners
Hmm.
that are doing this and they think it's fine. They think it's okay. And in
Yeah.
fact, they'll go on social media and do rebuttals and all those types
Hmm.
of things. But I'm
Yeah.
like, well, these are two people that they're not just critics. They also came in and they paid for the food. They're customers as well. So if
Yeah.
there are two customers that are unhappy, I'm sure that it's not and then there are a bunch of people in the comments that
Right.
say the same thing. Maybe you need to look at, oh, well, maybe my macaroni and cheese really is watery. Thank you
This
for that.
this is
Maybe my fish is baked.
one thing that got me about this story that I read was, and I saw his videos, they told him no takeout. 2 hours for a table. And these are not like New York, like 5-star Michelin restaurants. These are
Mhm.
just regular places. They don't open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They open when they want. They charge $1 for butter. It was so many things, and I was
It
like, if
sounds
they
like
tried
a
that in
soul
New
food
York,
restaurant.
I said if
Well,
they tried that here in New York, no takeout, no this, no that, you got to dress up, they'd be rioting in the
there's
street.
no
But it's
way.
Atlanta, it's an Atlanta thing, from what I
Exactly.
heard from my Atlanta people. It's an Atlanta thing. So some of them don't even go out to those places, and they either
There
stay
you
home
go.
or they go to the other places. But it's a shame that it's come to that, to where he's got death threats, because he's really doing a good thing.
He
Mhm.
is.
He's coming out the goodness of his heart and like, okay, I'm gonna go to these restaurants. I'm coming in as myself. I'm not asking for special service, because he could come as a celebrity now with all
Yeah.
these TikTok followers.
Mhm.
And but he doesn't do that. He sends his family in to see what's going on, and then he comes in. But when they find out it's Keith Lee, they all of a sudden they spiffy up. Oh, get the white glove out and clean up
No,
everything.
you should
But
have
you should be
cleaned
doing that
before, Whit.
already.
You should have been cleaning before.
You
And
should
the
treat
thing is,
everybody that come through the door like it's Keith Lee.
There you go.
absolutely. And it also is, regardless of whether it's right or not, this really
Mhm.
does put a mark on Atlanta food culture. And if
Yeah.
you thought that going in and reviewing black businesses and not giving them a glowing review when they didn't deserve it, if you think that hurts black restaurateurs, what about an entire city of majority black people being labeled as bad restaurateurs? Isn't that worse? So my thing is like, we were talking about this. I was like, okay, well, on one end, you have the fact that the restaurant business is very hard.
Yes.
Whatever we pay does not nearly begin to cover the cost of actually running a restaurant.
Yes. The
We would
margins
have to
are
pay
really
much
thin.
more
Mhm.
for that
Mhm.
to happen.
Mhm.
But conversely, you have restaurant owners that are pulling shenanigans and doing things that are not right. The food may
Right.
not be delicious, and when you say something, they don't want to change. They get defensive, etc. So we were also talking about the approach and such. So this is the interesting thing. Guess who comes into the live? Darius Cooks. So I said, Darius, and Darius is the other critic that's going around doing these things. So
Yes.
I said, Darius, if you are not indisposed, please come on live. He came on, and we had a great conversation. So it's up now if you're interested in watching it on my IG. I noticed, I was like, what? I had 910 people that came into the live, and I was like, why are all these people? Not that I
Because
didn't
he
appreciate
right.
it, but I
Mhm.
was like, how come so many people are in here? It's like, okay, that's why. But it was a great conversation. Hence, we didn't get to end too much else of anything else. But it is this was very important because it is making use of media
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
highlight particular businesses. In this case, it's restaurants. It is a very powerful tool. And so I think we all have to be very careful of how powerful it is. I don't think we realize the power
Mm.
in social media, in video. We do not, because we take it with a grain of salt. But you can
Mhm.
see social media influencers that
Yeah.
have, and this is, we're not talking about celebrities now. We're not
Yes.
talking about traditional Hollywood celebrities, but
Mhm.
social media influencers who have the power to make or break your brand.
Yeah,
That's
Mm.
that's what I
what
was
we
talking
should
about. I've been talking the last couple of weeks about the creator economy, which this is a part of. It's a global thing. It's bigger. It's growing bigger, and you can see like people are like, who is Keith Lee? Who is he? What is he? He doesn't have to be a celebrity. He doesn't have to be a 5-star chef or this or that. Those days are gone. He's just a person who built up a following organically by being authentic and trying to help people, and
Mhm.
that's how he got his following. I'm pretty sure he could turn this all those TikTok followers into brand sponsorships, this and that. But he's not at that point yet, but he could. But
Yeah,
this is what's going
exactly.
on. This is what's
Exactly.
going on.
See, the people who are thinking that people like the Keith Lees, etc., are not important,
Yes,
and that social media influencers don't matter, are the same people that are trying to beg TV to put them on, and you'll never
right.
get on. I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a very finite amount of individuals who will ever get on, quote, traditional television.
Right.
This is the avenue for many of us that are looking to get our message out, and it's
Exactly.
working. It's
Yes.
working, but the traditional industries refuse to say it's working, and then
Mm.
you, like a dummy, run behind them and like, yeah, I'll never forget. I was on and I know this is kind of off the, it's really not off the topic, but I, Mario Armstrong, love and worship Mario Armstrong. And he was doing something on Clubhouse, and somebody came up on the stage to ask something about
Mhm.
leveraging. And
Mhm.
there were a bunch of people in there, and it was great. And this particular person said, a lot of my, people I know and friends will ask me how to get in magazines, how to get on television, because they're only Instagram famous. I can't remember how she said it. I have
Mhm.
actually been in on television, etc. And then when she said that, I said, "You poor misguided soul. That show, and that's probably all you'll ever be, because you don't see the promise in what the future of media is. See, if in order to participate, this is for everyone. You need to be a futurist. You need to
Yeah.
understand where the future of media is going. And boo boo, it's
Yeah.
not going to your vacuum tube television. Okay,
Nope.
that's not it. That
And
is not
guess who you can
it.
thank for guess who you can thank for that? Guess who what generation? Gen Z. They don't own TVs. They don't want to own, they have this. This. That's all. And this is all you need to be exposed now. Not I was on this TV show and that doesn't matter. That
Nobody
matters
cares.
to boomers or whoever or whatever, a certain age group. The younger generation, which drives everything, use devices like phones mainly, and iPads and whatever. So if you can use YouTube, if you can use TikTok, if you can use Instagram, whatever it is, to platform to build up an audience, you're going to see success with that. And that's an example of it. So don't put it down.
And
It's only getting bigger.
the major news networks would have never found this story had he not been on TikTok.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
There you go.
Never, never. Because as we know, and I've talked about this before, having been in newsrooms, not that I worked for major news, but I've been in newsrooms when they've been doing the morning meetings and the afternoon meetings.
Right.
They are picking amongst the stories that are available to them that they know about, right?
Mhm.
It's only, and years ago, even though social media was out, they weren't relying on it on a source of content. They were not. Now it's like, oh, we saw this on social media, but they get to it like way after we do. And
Mhm.
Right.
that's because they still behave and function in a traditional capacity. Nothing wrong with tradition. After all, social media and all this content is really just an extension of all of that. However, what we have now is that the powers that be really don't want to make any changes. They still want to be able to garner the same amount of money, even though
Mhm.
the model has changed. They want to do the things they always have done. So we're going to keep the same 10 people all the time. We're not going to employ anything new. We're not spending money to change any of our systems over. We like this as it is. All right,
Right.
well, keep driving your Model T. Meanwhile, the rest of us will move on to something else.
And let me say this real quick. I was following the story before this. I think was it last week, but somehow I don't know how one of my news sources or Google or something, I saw an article on delish.com, which is
Mhm.
a site they talk about food and everything, and it's a Hearst magazine site. So when I saw that they did the story on Monday, it says TikTok star Keith Lee sparks heated debate about restaurant rules. I knew right then that this was going to be a national news story, because that delish, like Dr. Tati said, that other news organizations are looking for stories, and it so happened that somebody on CBS Mornings saw the Delish article somehow, some way, and then they
Mhm.
did the story about Keith Lee, and people were like, "Who is Keith Lee?" And then all of the other news, it was like a domino effect that it got picked up. Otherwise, it would have stayed. This would have been a story in, say, local or the black community, black Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. It would have stayed there, but it got picked
Absolutely.
up, and that's what happened.
Absolutely. And the other end of this too is like, who gets the shine for doing sort of these types of things? Who is criticized more for doing these types of things? With Darius Cooks and Keith
Mm-hmm.
Lee, they're doing these types of things. And even if, and more so for Darius, he's very straight. He's a straight shooter when it comes to it. He may say things, and I brought this up on Wednesday. I said, and by the way, there is a double standard because Gordon Ramsay comes out of all sorts of incredible things out of his mouth, and nobody says anything. But so there's a huge double standard there. It depends on who the deliverer is, right? And also depends on the ethnic background often of the deliverer as to how it is received. It's just very interesting. So that was a
There's
great
some
conversation.
Fred has some good a lot of good comments, and
Yeah.
if you want to, I forgot where we start.
Yeah, he said there is a balance in approach. The traditional and digital, there's a balance in approach for the traditional and digital realms. Not all traditional programming work on digital platforms, and not all digital platforms work on traditional platforms.
Right. And it's not supposed to work like that. It's not. And this is another thing. Gary talks about this a lot. How, and especially in the advertising world, they want to shoot a $1-2 million commercial, spend all of this effect and money on it, and then chop it up for social media. He says that doesn't work. You have to do traditional for traditional. You have to do digital for digital. It's two different paths.
But we already saw that happen with Quibi. Quibi just basically shot traditional stuff for 1 hour, chopped it up into episodes, and said, voila, here is your steak. Well, people weren't buying that kind of steak because it was just chopped up traditional nonsense. You just turned this steak into low-grade hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay. So absolutely, there are two different, not only different audiences, but there's also different approaches to things. That's true. I'll say this though, at the end of the day, the people who rock with traditional really hard, that is not where the industry is going. The industry is going, quote, new media. The industry is going digital. It is, in a sense, more cost effective. And not only that, that's where the audience is. All of this production, it doesn't mean a damn thing if there's nobody to watch it. Who is watching it? So if nobody is watching traditional television, and there will always be traditional television, I'm just saying that traditional media, it will always be there. Will it always be the end all and be all like it is now? No, because attitudes change. Will it be profitable? No, we're already starting to see this. Things change, and now we're on Gen Alpha. What? They don't care about any of that. If you ask them some of these things that are on television, they're no. Yeah, absolutely. News simply means new things. The problem is, what new things are they looking for? Every news station has a news agenda, right? And you cannot cover everything. It is impossible to cover everything. However, what needs to happen in these newsrooms is they need to be more plugged in to some of these other things that are happening outside. Now, with news, I know it's different. News is hyper local because Americans usually only care about what happens in their backyard. It's not like the rest of the world. The rest of the world is a lot more international, and all you have to do is go to a different country and turn on, even Canada, damn it, and you turn on the television and you will see news from different places. Not here.
And I'll say one more thing about, and this is real quick about just daytime news, and I watch CBS this morning a lot. I've noticed a lot of YouTubers, influencers, book authors, it being on the show when that kind of content wouldn't be there, and especially not putting Keith Lee down. I'm just saying that this story would have never made the light of day if the Hollywood strike wasn't going on. I'm not blaming Hollywood strike. I'm just saying there's a emptiness of content, especially for morning news, because they rely heavily on what's going on in Hollywood with celebrities and new projects and new movies and this and that and TV shows. Well, that's not happening. So they've got to fill their content bucket with something. So I've seen a lot of stories, and this goes to what Fred was saying about the viral on social media. It's because the producers need to, they still got to put on a show, even though Hollywood is on strike. So what do we talk about? Well, we can't talk about TV. We can't talk about movies. We can talk about music, social media, YouTube and stuff. So if they have people that have an eagle eye to look to see what's trending. And this just happened to be one that they caught, and it became elevated on the mainstream media. But if we were still out of the Hollywood the strike and things were going on normally, there would be too much content coming from Hollywood, and it would push this kind of thing to where it wouldn't even have shown up
But
on
you're
news.
right. But I'm also kind of, I'm not glad for the strike, but
Hmm.
I'm glad this shows the holes
Yes.
in Hollywood's plan.
Yeah. No, I
Because
agree with you
you
on
know
that.
what? It really shows the weaknesses in all news only being about that whole world. It shows
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's so much else going on
Yeah.
outside of that. Now, to Fred's point of traditional versus digital and what belongs where. If we look at Keith Lee, very sweet, love that he does honest reviews. Is he a television personality? No.
No.
Would his personality work well for a whole half-hour show?
No.
No. Could he
No.
be trained to do such? Maybe, but he's not there yet. All I have to do is look now, and he's enjoyable because he's telling the truth and doing good things. But does that make a good show host?
Right. And
No, it
does
doesn't.
he have to elevate to a 30-minute show to where he's doing a cooking show or this? He doesn't have to do that. He's
Mm-mm.
fitting the format that he's in TikTok, and he's talking to the audience. He's only what, 27 something. So he's not looking to, well, I need to be on a national TV show. That's not their thought process, Gen Z. They're happy with, okay, I got what I got on TikTok or Instagram.
And see,
And like I said, go ahead.
he wasn't trying to blow up
No,
over
you're
there.
right.
He
He
was
wasn't.
just trying to talk about the food that he tasted today.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to go viral.
Right. He says, I'm a normal person. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm trying to get out here and help these small businesses. That's it.
Right. And he wasn't doing it for himself. And so
Right.
he's gone viral now, and I think it's kind of cool that he stays in his little realm. And because I wouldn't want to try and watch him if I had to try and do appointment TV. Okay, what time
Right.
is he coming on?
Because
It
it's not,
wouldn't
yeah,
work.
and it's not for that. Because TikTok
No.
is short form video content, snackable content. You get a couple of videos and that's it. That's the format of TikTok. So it's
And
not
here's the
trying to be a
thing:
TV show. Right.
15 million follower view. How many quote regular celebrities have that many?
13
Don't
million.
talk about. I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
talking about music like a Beyonce or a Taylor
Right.
Swift.
Or
We
Kim
already know
Kardashian,
they're
Kim
like
Kardashian got
supernovas.
200. She got
No,
200, whatever. Yeah.
exactly. I'm not talking about
Right.
that. But
Regular folks.
right, yeah. How many, or even celebrities, not even just regular folk, but celebrities, go to TikTok, go to Instagram, and look at like some celebrities that may be on show. There are a lot of them that don't even have 500,000, which to me, 500,000 is great. But compared to some of these other social media influencers and personalities who have gotten on and connected, and here is the key thing: they've connected with the audience. Stars are stars. And there was my good friend, Troy DeVold, who is a reality television show producer and also happens to be on the advisory board for Indie Soup. He told the story when he came on my show one day about why stars were called stars. And I can't remember the individual who came up with this, but he started calling these celebrities stars because stars are untouchable. Stars are
Oh.
so far away that you can't reach them. They shine brightly and they're beautiful, but you don't have access to them. And that was what old Hollywood especially wanted their stars to be. So as know, even with fan clubs, it's how realistic was it that you would meet your favorite celebrity back in the day? Not at all.
Mm-mm.
None at all. They did a few appearances. It was very limited, and that was it. But then in comes social media. In comes the social media personality and the influencer that for the first time you can actually ask them questions, and what they're actually going to answer back live or underneath the YouTube video. What? That's unheard of. That has upended the whole celebrity thing and put it on its head to the point. I know the comedian Coco Brown fairly well, and so we were all talking one day, and she was like, when it comes to gigs and things, they ask, how many social media followers do you have. It's not even about your talent anymore, in a sense. It's
Right.
about how many followers you have. Why? Because followers bring advertisers, which brings money. So the talent is important, but it becomes secondary to all of that. So I think we all need to realize the media landscape that we are in now. Traditional
Yes.
media will always be there, and I think it's important. It was the forerunner, it set the stage, but please
Hmm.
don't think that this new age is not going to have an effect. It already is. So,
Yeah. So Gen Z, I always talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha setting the stage to where they don't care about traditional anything. So traditional media will always be around, but this digital format platform is a different animal, a different beast, and it has a different audience who does not care about traditional. So there are companies and brands and things that are slowly waking up to the fact that, oh, like I said before, oh, I'm gonna uh I'm going to create a commercial and it's going to run on TV and we're going to cut it down to fit TikTok or whatever, and it never works. Never, because it's two roads, and the traditional road is going to be there, but everybody's headed out digital because it is a different animal, it's a different world. It exists differently. The people who are in it react and do things differently. So it's really a study of human behavior and
Right.
society behavior.
Right.
That's where we're moving.
And then this is like what we were talking about with the tech history earlier. Stuff is
Mhm.
converging and moving
Right.
and shifting. It's not staying the same. And so you got the horse and the buggy and the bike and the
That's a
car
great analogy.
all on the
The horse
road
and the buggy.
together.
Mhm. That's a great analogy. Horse and buggy industry. Here comes the automotive industry. That's
mhm,
a great example. And where are we
absolutely.
now? When we horse and buggy? No.
So, really quickly, because I know
Okay.
we are like well over time.
That
Well,
was just good conversations.
it
I
was,
know
yeah,
you
it was
brought up
good
the key
conversation.
part.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, we really could end it there, but because you brought up music, I just wanted to touch on this one article. And we already know that Taylor Swift's Eras tour has will be the tour for the Eras along with Beyonce. But this is what's happened with that. This was all predicated on the re-release. She bought back all of the rights to her things, right? She has all the
Mhm.
rights to her music,
Yep.
and this was predicated on the re-release of a lot of her music.
Mhm.
So this is what's happening now. Music labels are not trying to are not trying to have this. They're basically getting together internally to try and ensure that there are no more quote Taylor versions, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
They don't want this
Mhm.
anymore. So, because obviously Taylor Swift's versions of these, they're calling them Taylor's versions, the re
Mhm.
recordings of her first six albums. And
Right.
so the major music labels are now majorly expanding the amount of time until an artist is allowed to pull a similar type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're
Yep.
really, really trying to expand that. So here's the thing: lawyers are reporting that Universal Music Group, Sony Music Entertainment, and Warner Music Group are stipulating in their new contracts that artists can't record their music for anywhere from 10 to, or re-record their music from anywhere from 10 to 30 years after its release.
Wow.
So previously, the contracts were about an average of 5 to 7 years after a release, or just 2 years after an artist's contracts with the label expired. But they're so mad, have their underwear in a bunch over this, that they're saying 10 to 30 years. To
Yep.
me, people, you read your contracts. This does not
Exactly.
seem palatable at all. If I'm an artist and
No.
you're telling me I cannot re-release my music for another 10 to 30 years after where it may not be salient anymore, that
No.
that's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah,
And
that's not
see,
cute.
no, and see, I would be rethinking if I was in the music industry or if I was in music, I would be thinking of a different way to get my music out there. It would not be going through the traditional um, channels because
Mhm.
Mhm.
the traditional channels, the Sonys and the others, they're just distributing for you, right? They're putting it out there. And
Right.
the music industry has not been all of that. Um, welcoming. They got a shady history.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They got shade.
Terrible.
Hey, Ola.
Yes, absolutely. The music industry traditionally has been very abusive
Yeah.
to artists,
Mhm.
particularly
And
new
with particular
artists.
women. And women.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
women, artists in general. If we
Mm-hmm.
look at all you have to do is look at uh, what would have been called back then. Okay, early rock and roll, soul
Yeah, I
music,
know. Yes.
rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
Many of the artists who are predominantly black, many of the artists who were looking at music as a way to overcome their circumstances. And when
Yeah.
somebody is so desperate to get out of their circumstances, that's a recipe for I can do anything to you.
Right.
Somebody so
Right.
desperate for
Desperate.
fame, that is
Mm-hmm.
a recipe for I can do anything to you. And this is for that's the music business in general.
Right.
So Taylor Swift has become a billionaire now because of this. She was already a millionaire, but this re-release of the music plus the tour had made her become a billionaire. She's broken records with
Mm-hmm.
the success of her re-recorded albums, and there's still more to come. So labels are really trying to get in front of this in terms of potential headaches. So this is none of the money that's going to them. Remember this.
Right. Right. It's always
Remember.
about money.
But do you know what I
Always,
liked
always.
about the fact that she took her stuff and she probably has some really good attorneys or whatever to help her wrangle in her stuff because
Right.
the library of music that you have, Michael Jackson was buying up people's libraries.
Yeah, he bought the Beatles
The
catalog
Beatles.
and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
He bought their catalog and
That's
stuff.
what happened. Him and Paul fell out over that because they were friends. So, but business is business.
Right. And so for the people, I applaud her for doing that because they are mad.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, because she really did it because who was it, Scooter Braun or something
Mm,
owned the records because of the deal that was signed when she was young or something.
right.
And so she said, "Well, I'll just re-record them." And everybody it was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So now here comes the record company going, "Well, we're missing out on that re-recorded money, so we're going to stop them from doing that."
and I mean, like, come on, you already had the first dibs. Now you're going into the
Yeah.
second pot too. Come on.
See,
Yeah, you had the first release.
But okay, greed here. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. If
there
I
you
have
go.
a whole pizza and you ask for one pepperoni, your answer is going to be no, because then that's less pepperoni that I have.
It's
Never
the
mind that I have
pepperoni
a
for
whole
me.
pizza full of pepperoni. I don't want you to have one, not even a taste of this saltiness, because I need it all. So, I think that it's definitely greed, but I think this is also a wake up call for people that are entering the music business today.
Yes.
Here's the main thing. This is what you need the labels for: distribution.
Yep.
That is the only thing. If you can corner and get distribution on your own, you don't need them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You don't.
And that's
So
what it wasn't that whole thing about people having the CDs out the trunk.
yes, exactly. Now, granted, they have networks that allow you to do that, and it doesn't mean that they're completely unnecessary. But modern
Right.
technology, modern ways of distribution, the proliferation of the internet, social media have all made distribution
Yeah.
easier for the average person. So, yeah,
Didn't
you're
Master P
going to
do that? Didn't Master P print his own?
Master P out right in New Orleans that printed
Yeah,
it and did
his
yes.
own CDs and sold them out the truck and this and that. He didn't use. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So the thing is, people are so used to the old model of doing things that they think that the most efficient way is going to be going with signing a contract, going with a record label. And
Right.
yeah, they are going to do all of that legwork if they, are so inclined. But then you do it. Get a team
Right.
together and you do the legwork. You play
Yeah.
the
You
clubs.
do it.
You do the things because the thing is, you get things on the. And here's the thing. Radio is not. Here was the other thing. Radio was the predominant way for people to discover new artists, right? To
Mhm.
discover these artists. It was all the thing. Oh, my record is on the radio, right? My song is
Yeah.
on the radio. Who listens to radio? Now I
What?
do because I like
Yeah.
NPR, but the
We
average
do.
person who listens to
How
radio
does
now
Gen Z? How does Gen Z find out about new songs?
online.
TikTok.
on
YouTube.
social media. They're
TikTok.
not listening to the radio.
TikTok.
Exactly.
That
TikTok.
TikTok. TikTok
Okay,
has a
and
whole music section.
Yes, they
right,
do.
exactly.
exactly, because and Justin Bieber got found on
Yes.
YouTube playing his songs on YouTube. And didn't Taylor Swift get discovered on YouTube as well?
I'm not
I
sure
can't
I
about
don't
remember
her,
know.
her
but I know
story.
Justin Bieber did.
I don't
Justin
know.
Bieber did. I don't know Taylor's story.
But
I'm
the
gonna look it
internet
up.
is the new mall. Remember
Yes.
back like in the 80s, like people, everybody got discovered in the mall,
Yeah, they were
models,
sitting in the
Yes,
beautiful
mall.
yes. Yes,
That's the
Mary
new
J.
mall.
Blige recorded. She recorded a demo at the mall or something, and it got picked up and in the right hands. Yeah, so that's what they used to do: go to the mall and get discovered, or do a little recording somewhere. And yeah,
Yeah,
oh
Ken.
Kim.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
See, there
Exactly.
you go. There you
You,
go.
you have to do, the thing is, you can't be, there's no laziness in this game. If you
Oh,
say
that's
this
my
is what
mantra.
you want to do, yeah, exactly.
That's
That
my mantra. There's no laziness. You can't be lazy
you
anymore.
can't be lazy. There's no laziness in this game. If
Nope.
you say this is what you want to do, if you say you want to act, if you say you want to sing, if you say you want to have be a musician, you have to control your own career. That means you have to beat the pavement and put yourself in places where you'll be likely to be seen,
Mhm.
and do those things where the things that the record label would have done for you, that an agent would have done for you, these are the things you have to do yourself. Later on, maybe some of these people will then come to you, and then
Right.
you have the leverage of, no, I'm not accepting that. The problem
Right.
is before, your label came to you, saw you as gold and money, but you had no leverage, you had no followers, you had nothing until they gave it to you. Now what happens is it goes grassroots up. People are releasing whole LPs without the help of a label, paying for it on their own with the help of Audacity and all these wonderful free tools. So they
Yeah.
got their
Yes.
stuff. I don't need you. What do I need you for? And I have a social media following of like 10
That's
million
why.
people. What do I need you for?
That's right. And a lot of it is free for now. That's
Right.
what I said. Get on it now. It's free before they start going, oh well, we're gonna start charging for you to get on this highway. It's free now.
Well, I think what we
A lot
have
of it.
here, ladies, is the
Okay.
same thing as we have with gasoline engines and electric ones.
Yep.
Some people have moved over to EVs, and the people who are insisting on, gasoline driven engines eventually
Mhm.
will be antiquated. They'll be left
Right.
behind.
I
Uh,
agree.
Right now, we got some hybrid stuff going on.
So that's what I had for you today. I know this
Good
went
stuff.
long, but we had two like really interesting things
Good
in
Mhm.
stuff.
media. So
This
yeah,
No, good
it was
story.
a good conversation. It really was. And Fred said it takes money to make money.
Yep.
Labels
Yes.
were the source of money. Marketing was the money. And
yeah,
now
Yes.
all that's happening is digital and
Mhm.
And it
short
still
frame.
takes money. Still takes money, but the
yeah.
Still
the
takes
the,
money, and it's
the
and if
entry, the barrier is lower. The
and if you
entry
don't have
to
the
get on.
money, it takes your effort. Like TJ said, you can't be
Yeah.
lazy. You're going to have to get up. And I don't know if you do
Mhm.
CDs, but maybe you have the MP3. You can
Something.
SoundCloud, Apple,
Something.
Spotify, somewhere where you
Yeah,
can upload your
it's
music.
like, yeah, everybody's doing those types of things, and it's like you could do all sorts of things. You have the thing that, you know what, I at midnight there's a free download coming. Pull a Beyonce, release
Yeah.
a free download or
Yeah.
something, get the people into these things. And then there's still traditional routes that you can take to get exposure, and that doesn't necessarily mean going on a television show, but that
Right.
means events, right? Look
Mhm.
at holding your own simultaneous event during a big thing. Like, okay, so Essence Festival is a really big festival, right, in New Orleans in
Yeah.
the summer.
Yeah.
You can do, you can't bill it as Essence, but you
Right.
can do tandem events. And Freddie
Yes.
said yes, public events. Do
Yes.
tandem events
Mhm.
during Essence and
Mhm.
let people know, hey, Essence Fest is coming.
Mhm.
During Essence we have XYZ.
Yeah,
company,
I
but
heard
you
of
don't
some.
bill it as Essence.
Yeah, I heard of some businesses doing that, and that's the tie-in. You want to tie in. You want to get on what's
Yes.
popular and ride that tiger, hold on the tiger's tail. You and like you said, don't call it Essence this and that because
You
that
will
stuff
get
is
sued
branded,
because
right?
there were a couple of people that got in trouble this time
For
for
saying Essence Fest.
yeah,
Hmm.
and you have to be very careful with that. But
Yeah,
it's always great to hold your event during, especially during the down times of a
just
bigger
say
event.
event, cultural celebration. That you could say it without saying Essence Fest. You just gotta be creative. And guess what? You got a tool to help you be more creative. It's called generative AI, Chat GPT.
Yes.
Yes. And now the Chat GPT will put together a little program for you.
Oh, it will. It'll help you. So just gotta ask. And then you, of
Mhm.
course, don't copy and paste straight out.
Don't worry, they will.
Well,
I
I
know
have a
they will.
question. I have a question. Do you
Hmm.
think that now that some of these people have made billions of dollars, that they may offer these services to up and coming artists for free to disrupt
And
the whole
who's made the
process?
billions? But who's made? You mean like Taylor Swift making the
Yeah,
billions,
I
or?
mean, become a
Mhm.
disruptor. I mean, she's got enough money.
Well, if she wants to, is that's the key. Does she want to? Does she
Yeah, does
want
she
the
have
help?
the desire to
Yeah,
do those types of things? She does.
He
I'm
said
not trying
no.
that she did. Yeah, well, yeah,
yeah,
I'm kind of on that. She doesn't have the philanthropic spirit to want. I don't know that she really cares beyond
right,
herself about
right,
people coming into the industry. She doesn't give that air. And I could
Mhm.
right.
be completely wrong, but I've never heard her talking about, well, we want to ensure that the next generation of music makers are safe. So we are going to do this. That's not
Mhm.
her.
Yeah, I
She-
haven't
She's
heard
just
anything
trying to
like that
sing
from her.
about 1984, whatever year she was born.
Yeah, she's got her billion and she's good.
Okay.
She's
Well,
not a
this is
Tyler Perry. She's not Tyler Perry.
mm-mm. This
She
has
ain't
really
giving back.
been really good conversations today, and we want to thank everybody who joined us live and on the replay. Fred, you made this and
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
Fred
Y'all
and
just
Carlos and
great,
Mark and
mhm,
whoever else has
conversation.
been in here with us. We appreciate you taking your time out, being with us today. We had some really good conversations. You can, if you missed something, you can always go back to the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward to our next time together. And next Monday coming up is First Monday, so you can join our First Monday event. And we'll have some more of that on Monday morning too. But we'll be meeting at Seasons 52 in Sacramento. And Terralina will be coming in live from Pennsylvania. And
Yay.
and then if you haven't become a part of the BizChicks community, you can do that by going to bizchicks.net and or going to
You can join us.
text biz to
Excellent.
33777. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Real and Not Memorex. We're live.
Thank you, Fred. Fred said he loves the show. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you,
Fred.
Fred. We really appreciate all you being here and allowing us to help you take the hassle out of your hustle. We'll be back on Monday, and TJ will be back. Remember, follow Dr. Tachi on Mediascope. This is some good
Yep.
stuff. Good
Oh, wait a
conversation
minute. Really
today.
quickly,
Yeah.
the Biz Chicks are the feature today for Indie Soup Media. So
Oh,
make sure
okay.
that, yeah, your interview is up today. So make sure that everybody checks it out.
I'm going
And is
now.
it indiesoupmedia.com?
No. It's up
No,
on our social
Instagram.
media.
Oh, on
On
Instagram. Okay, cool.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I also posted on my LinkedIn
Oh
and
my
I do a
goodness.
story. Yeah.
All righty then.
Ooh, looking forward
Got
to
it.
it. I forgot what we said, but I'm glad it's going to be good.
Thank you, Doc. All right. We
All
look
right,
forward to
everybody.
that.
We'll see you next
Bye,
time.
everybody.
Have a
Thanks.
really good
Thank you.
weekend.
Bye.